Okay.
Does have to be closed or not?
Probably now, but we're probably going to interrupt him more than he's going to interrupt us. Yeah.
Okay, we are on it.
Okay, we're live. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Lisa?
As required by the Open Meeting Document 75, as a notice, this meeting is held on February 20th, 2019, by publication of notice in the express times and posting said notice in the building on the same date.
Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Here?
Mr. Beam?
Here.
Mr. Marqueta? Mr. McDermott?
Here.
Mr. Perone?
Okay, just so you know, Mr. Perone did telephone earlier. He's stuck in traffic. He'll probably be about 15 minutes late, so he will be joining us during the meeting. Okay, please stand for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Anything we want to discuss before Frank and Brad get here that won't be so significant that it, we have to go back and retell them the whole story? You have anything,
No, I don't really have anything.
okay. You want to just, you're gonna...
I mean, other than open dialogue on certain things that we've been discussing.
One thing we were looking at is about the hours for the part-time staff. And it appears that 30 hours is the maximum. But from talking to people and our attorney, it seems like 28 is where most people go. Because if you put them at 30, you know how sometimes we're asked a part-time employee to stay for 2 hours because somebody couldn't make it or whatever, so they end up working like 31 or 32 hours. If they do that too routinely, eventually someone could maybe file a lawsuit and say, you have me scheduled for 30 hours, but 27 weeks out of 27 out of the last 32 weeks, I worked 32 hours, I want health benefits. So it looks like, I think one thing we should just budget for 28 hours and authorize the 28 hours, but, you know, we'll bring it up again when Brad and Frank are here, but I can't see where anyone's going to disagree with the recommendation of the attorney, because we certainly just can't afford health benefits if somebody wanted them, so.
Yeah, and Jim had, his last correspondence to me was that he was going to contact someone to find out if there was an exemption for municipalities, and
Right.
get back to me by the end of the day, but I did not get anything from him. I don't know if there's...
Yeah, so if he comes back with a change,
Right.
it's really not that much more money for the two. Maybe we should even just budget it for 30 hours.
Yeah, because it's not a decision, but that's...
Well, actually, 28 to cover it, because it's already March, so.
Right. I would say 28.
The 28 hours should cover it, because it's already March.
Right.
The budget's not going to be approved. And then, so it'll probably work out that if you wanted to, if we found out that we could go 30, we'd have the money budgeted to go 30 by that time.
Right.
So,
Are we thinking intro in April?
I would hope
Or were you thinking intro,
next week.
yeah, I'll see how that...
Well, I guess we got to see.
Never mind.
We got lawn bits to do, and
And I don't know if you and the auditor could get your stuff done next week.
Okay, so we'll shoot for April, so that gives me time to work on some things. I don't know if Brad brought this up, or just to me, is a house demo. He said, because I did find out it's inside cap, he said, what if we just sell it as is, and let that, whoever this buyer is, take care of it? Is that an option?
Well, I would say that's probably always an option,
An auction
But-
is another really good option.
yeah. But whoever is going to put in a bid, I don't know the size of that lot. I don't know if you can put a septic back in it.
yeah, I think that's a problem. If it's 50 by 75,
Mhm.
that's a lot. It's under
The
5,000
only people
square
will be
feet.
worth to is people who live on either side of it.
Exactly.
Because I don't think it's big enough to put a septic.
And you've got people on either side of it that are not in a really
Yeah,
Position to do it.
to do it.
Right.
Yeah, so,
We could certainly look at it, but considering a complete demo,
at around 39,000. Yeah, I mean, it can't be worth more than a couple $1,000s tops.
Nobody's gonna want it.
Nobody's gonna want it.
Once they hear
That's what I thought about, when somebody had suggested that.
I mean,
don't know if
after the building's
it's gonna
down,
cost them to- Well, they might be able to do it less than knock it down on us, because,
maybe, but because we were under the 40,000, it wasn't,
they don't even-
government, union wage,
yeah.
or prevailing wage. There may be interest after it's down and cleaned up about selling the property. Maybe the people on either side would be interested, and that's only a maybe. But we do have a home, we have Mr. Haver, who might be interested.
That neighbor.
He owns the corner properties. He would be interested for parking for his people. It's not convenient, but, if the number was right, he might take it and just use it as a gravel parking lot for when there's snow on the ground.
I don't know if this is a prevailing wage item anyway, but I believe the prevailing wage number is 15 or change, 499 or something, that's when it kicks in. I know like landscaping is not subject to prevailing wage. I don't know what a demo would be.
Right.
I would assume that it is, okay.
But again, it's one of those things that, until we have better, I haven't approached, but actually, I kind of know the people on both sides of it, and they're not in a position to pay anything substantial. And even after it was gone, the one person that might be interested isn't going to want to pay anything substantial.
So we own the property. I guess we can't make an insurance claim that this is a hazard?
Well, that's kind of what I wished it would fall down, but it's going to end up being about the same regardless. And if it falls down, it actually might create a problem on either neighbor's side.
There's no way to rebuild that thing as a law.
No. No.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah, no.
You could do the septic, don't take, this is anything. Get out there and do it.
Now, I have seen, there are a couple of smaller yards here in town that have, I'm going to take the one right next to the Lutheran church. They did put in a peat moss system, a biological, it's the 3 green containers. The problem you're going to have is what the boards are going to use to, what size building can you put on it? And it's going to be, the measurements are going to be too small.
Yes, he's in traffic.
Oh, you didn't realize we were in session? You didn't realize we were in session? No. Brad's about probably 10 to 15 minutes out yet, so we're just really talking in general now, nothing specific.
So let's talk about the legal number. I have it at 120. I spent 137 last year. I have that $40,000 payment we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Looming. Because I know at the last meeting we had said, there shouldn't be a lot out there, maybe we can cut that back.
Legal?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
You got Larry Cohen and the Jan Ray issue that's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
we should have less for affordable housing.
That's all.
That's all, okay.
Yeah.
And then
What about sewer?
sewer was
That should be going away too, right?
Sewer I charge.
Yeah.
Our sewer account, yeah.
And how much did we pay for, I guess what you gotta do is, we gotta get a number for how much we paid for our own council and labor. The labor should be significantly less this year. Actually, and
He only sends me invoices like once a year.
And actually, even Lavery's firm handled one employment issue for us, so that should be less.
Mike's bill is anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. Does that sound about right?
So,
And then John's paid out of,
affordable housing.
But affordable housing,
Well, land use,
affordable housing, I don't know who told me, Brad, somebody, maybe you even told me.
Yeah.
Is it 20, what's the percentage you can use?
20%, right?
Right, so we got, I don't know what's coming up this year with that.
Wow. I would hope most of the legals are
So
done.
20, was that 20% of what's in there?
Administrative, yeah,
Yeah.
So that would leave us, what's in there right now, a million?
1.2?
It was 1.0, it's less now.
No, okay.
I mean, you know he's gonna the attorney's gonna have to constantly review
Much more than-
documents
Yeah, of
for the
course.
builders to make sure they're in compliance with the agreement, so there's gonna be fees there.
Yep. There's gonna be fees there. And I know they mentioned, and I don't know whose budget this goes in, but it was mentioned that maybe master plan they were gonna look at, but,
No, yeah, right,
and
right.
if we don't need to do that this year, then maybe they hold off. But whose
Well-
budget does that come out of? Well, that's coming out of,
Land use.
but they only have something like, where they get the money from, if it's a master plan review though, right?
Yeah.
Where they getting their money from? They can't use COLA, what are they using?
No, it's part of your regular budget. Planning board our way.
Yeah, but planning board away doesn't have that in it.
How much was the planning board operating expense?
Last year, we spent 24,000, I have 25,000 in there now.
I don't think we're required to do it this year, so we have to look to see what the requirement is. So maybe it can be pushed off.
Well, it needed to be done by 2022, is what they had originally said.
So I don't know, so we have to,
I
that's,
thought-
obviously, that's not in there.
No, but I thought Beth had said that we should be starting it soon.
Well, it only came up, the only reason it came up is because I brought up, looking to see how we could,
Right.
we had a discussion to see how we could get better homes, and that's when Josh said, well, maybe now's a good time to look at the master plans.
Right.
So I don't know that we have to do it. Were you in that meeting?
No, I was, yeah.
So, anyway, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
That's not part of their,
No, and I don't think, Kathleen, that you're going to be, because like you said, we're over. And I still, and to be honest, I still see a couple of things cropping its ugly head up yet.
Okay. I think
That,
I can look at, your general government O&E. We spent 47 last year. I kept it at 60, which I dropped that to, I think as Frank said, there won't be as much IT stuff that I'm aware of this year. I was charging all that there. Is that your understanding, Lisa? I know there was the issue of the Microsoft, Windows 7. That's got to be upgraded, but that was minimal. I don't have to do that, yeah. I'll look at that. What about what should I put in extra for these hydrants?
It was like 20, was it 28,000, something like that?
that sounds right.
I think it's like an additional $28,000. Well, the chief's here. You want to go over some of the chief stuff while we're here? I mean, the only thing that he's asked, the major thing that he asked for that I don't even know if we can say no to is that fingerprint machine. The fingerprint scanner,
So
so,
we're definitely doing that for capital, correct?
yes. I don't think we have a choice, right? I mean,
he's got to have that.
That's the option.
No, I mean-
The other option is the maintenance contract is up, so you're going to, if something goes wrong with that machine, I'm going to get $300 an hour for the maintenance. And they don't even, chances are, if a part goes wrong, they're going to tell us we got to replace it, and then we can't replace it, you got to buy a new machine anyway. So they're forcing it.
And I know from our township, every time we called them in, everything was so obsolete. they had to change things, we ended up buying a new system too,
That's-
because the money was getting ridiculous. So I agreed that we probably should replace that and do that now, sooner than later.
The good thing by waiting is it seems like it came down a little bit. That's, and we definitely
So
got,
that's good.
we got, I think, 10 years, over 10 years out of the system. So there's not many departments that still have the original system.
Is there anything else in here that, I mean, there's nothing else really to cut out of there. That's the only thing in addition you asked for that we normally budget, correct?
Yes, with the exception of the vehicle, circulating the vehicle out.
Well, I think we came to an agreement a couple of years ago where we're just gonna keep cars in there, because we don't wanna go back to Rebondon for police
I
cars.
had 15,000.
Yeah, right.
Where's the fingerprint machine in here?
Yeah, this year might be a little bit more, because like, the car prices are up.
What do you think I should put there?
I had a rough estimate, 16,000. I mean, again, that goes with, what our, finance commission did.
Yeah.
So do you want me to, for ease of use here, do I just plug numbers, get them to John and me, and then we can have him here with his laptop going and start slicing and...
Yeah, I think, I mean,
That's what I
that's
want to know
fine.
is,
Yeah.
tonight, do you want me to plug in the numbers that they're, Joe and Hummer are proposing?
right. So, well, for tonight then, for the police, let's plug in the numbers that we just talked, right?
And yeah, let's decide on all capitals, if you can.
Right.
Where's the fingerprint machine in here?
I don't know, where's the fingerprint thing? Is that on a different page? I don't see it in here.
I don't see anything here for
I
20,000.
know, I thought we had a second page one for you, and I can't find mine now.
So the figures will
Yeah, and that's why I can't
Ah.
find.
Here it is, it says the mug shot, it's called the live scan, but I don't...
Yeah, and I was just wondering-
Had the money of it. It might be...
Did you have any?
What should, is there a reason it's not in here? Am I missing something?
Because it's a capital item, that's not, that's...
Okay,
Maybe I should
gotcha.
have it here. On that page, what did I do with it?
I got it right here.
Yes, I know I had it, now I don't have it. That one, that one, thank you.
So you'll see all kinds of numbers
What,
there.
you-
I'm opting not...
Next week from Thursday, or next Tuesday?
I just want the basics, the bare minimum of the machine, the fingerprinting, and the printer. I don't want the cabinet and all that bells and whistles stuff.
Right.
We don't even have that stuff.
So what's the bottom line price then for budgeting?
$26,758.
Okay.
That includes the 1-year warranty and 2 additional years of...
Fingerprint scanner for the police department. We're going over capital, pretty much, we've always agreed for the car, and the only item this year he actually has to have is his fingerprint scanner. I don't even think we have an option to say no. So are we good with him then for that?
And there is money for that in theory, right?
Like, just sitting there now.
No, that's what I'm saying, but, right.
So
Although,
why is that two different ones here?
there might be a couple things that I can cancel.
I'm confused.
I'm gonna
You
talk
got
to
this
John
one
about
or
that,
that one?
that's got like older ordinances that apparently are never gonna be used. So, that could be around 35,000.
For example,
There's an old
Oh, this one we did,
open space ordinance that said
Going
land
down.
acquisition, At first, Sean was saying, oh, we have to do
Yeah,
some
but he was
folder
saying 26,
on
so like this
I
one.
was like, please, God, no. Like, we just can't go there.
So
So I'll
that's
find out if we can just.
This is it.
22, 23.
So there's kind of money sitting on a cloud somewhere because of that.
Yeah.
Can't do
Yeah,
that.
okay, you know.
The only thing there, you'll see like options, the printer, you can buy
So-
the printer separate, you can buy the printer in a package, you can buy,
Yeah, you have table 7, table 8. Table 7 has it for 22.5. Is that the one you're talking about?
Here, you can have it back. I'll look at Frank's. Here, I can look at Frank's. I know I have that sheet. I don't know how to do it.
I'm assuming you're talking about this table 7 version.
That one doesn't have the cabinet and stuff included. Right, the first one, Rich?
first one.
The desktop table 7,
Yes.
the 22?
Does not, yes, it doesn't have the cabinet. It has the, so it's the computer and the scanner, which are two separate items.
Bless you.
It doesn't, none of these packages include the printer, so the printer then I highlighted, which is, table 9, for $1,221.
Table 9.
And each one of these packages I've got the, including the maintenance on it.
So it's table 7,
Table 7.
table 9.
Table 7's got the two prices, so you got the 22,000, then you have the 2,000 for the,
Right.
maintenance, and then table 9 is the, printer, and then 175 for the maintenance.
And that adds up to the 26, whatever?
So we're not asking for any of these other things.
That's definitely not in there, because that
That's definitely not in there.
Yeah, so I didn't include the,
What about table 11? Is that out?
I didn't include because our camera works, so
Okay.
I want to spend almost over $2,000 on another camera, digital camera.
No, I'm not telling you to put it in. I just,
I'm gonna try to get the absolute life out of our camera.
and then also the first thing up here, that's, what's that, maintenance to additional layers on-site advantage solution? Is that in?
Which table?
The first thing on the page, above table 7.
The very top thing, the Advantage Solution, on-site Advantage Solution.
That should
that-
be included, let me just double check, because I see it, it's not highlighted.
No.
Let me-
I'm assuming that's out, because that wasn't part of your total number.
It should have been in there, 'cause that-
Oh, all right,
Here
then,
it is
Isn't that part of
here.
the
Yeah, on-
See how
2630?
it's on this one?
Well, on table
Oh.
7,
Here's
it's
on-
So
there,
you
yeah.
went-
Table 7.
yeah, it looks like you did
It's
include
in
it.
table 7.
It's in table 7. Lillian picked that up.
Yeah.
With the 22,532.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just, so that's, it's in here.
Yeah.
So you're looking at table 7,
9.
table 9, table 10 is out,
11's out.
and 11's out?
He said his camera's okay.
Right. All right.
Okay. So we're good
This
with,
is the capital.
we're good with the police for capital, right? Kathleen, you have the number?
And then, was there a car you said included?
Yeah, 17,000 for the car.
27,000, right?
Yeah, it's 26. Can you put the,
26,758.
yeah, that's what I could see it. Can you charge the maintenance to capital? Does it have to go inside?
Said what annual maintenance is?
2 additional years
It's,
on-site
it's
advantage
like
solution annual
2630 plus
maintenance.
175, so you're looking at 2,800 bucks.
Every year.
Annual maintenance, starting in year
Yeah,
4.
Starting in year 4.
Don't have operating.
But that's not gonna, so it covers 3 years, let's see, 1 year on-site included, so that's 2 additional years. So you wouldn't have it till, what, 23 then? You wouldn't need to pay that 2630? Or you pay it up front and then it kicks in year 4, is that what it's for?
Well, wait a minute. So you're saying, so that shouldn't be included in the price then?
I don't know.
the
But at the initial, the 22.5 says it has a
Oh,
one-year
yeah, 'cause that
warranty.
doesn't- You're saying it doesn't kick in till later? Then no, we shouldn't include it.
Oh,
It says
So
starting
you
in
could
year
knock that
4.
down by 2,300 then.
because the first year
Because if
should
that's-
be included in the purchase,
I
right?
know in the past, that's what we do. We would get those maintenance screens and charge it to our maintenance account. That's how we did in the past. I'll also call them up and just make.
But it shouldn't be part of capital anyway? Is that what we're saying?
The maintenance
Unless
on
they're
it
giving
is
you.
charged.
So then we gotta reduce, do we reduce this number by 2,300?
Plus the 175, if that's the case. The 175.
So just figure it out, and
Because that starts in year 2, the printer.
But the printer is capital.
I mean, the maintenance.
the maintenance.
Oh, the maintenance for the printer.
Says it starts
All
in
right,
year
so,
2 as well, but-
so you're down... Yeah, you're up. $20,000 then? 20,200, something? Is that the total?
Yeah,
Huh?
22, 23, 624 grand.
Where do you get that?
22.5 plus.
It's not 22.5.
It should be minus.
That's minus
$2,085, right?
Why?
2,300,
It's in here on it.
Right, but if they're
Included.
saying that we're not paying for the maintenance right away, and we're gonna charge that to our maintenance account, then I'm subtracting the maintenance of 2,630 for the system, and then the maintenance of the printer of 175.
Oh, so you're reducing the
But that says it
22.5 by those
doesn't
two
kick in
numbers.
till year 4.
Right, so we shouldn't, so.
It's not part of capital either way, though. Doesn't even
Right,
matter.
right, right.
But
Okay.
it's the
It should
22.5,
go into my maintenance, line item and
Yeah.
not the cap.
What's the bottom line number?
So you're reducing 22.5 by those two numbers? Is that what you're saying?
I'm reducing those, 2805 from the 2675.
Got it.
I would just make sure that the
It
term,
makes 24,953.
I'm just gonna call the company tomorrow to make sure. It
25,000.
would be 23,953.
Just one for clarification. On table number 7, that 22.5, oh, that doesn't include the 2.6 anyway. That 22.5 is without the 2.6. Okay, I got it. All right.
Okay? Brad, before you came in, even before Frank came in, we talked a little bit about the hours for the part-time employees. It looks like 30 hours is the number, maximum number.
yeah, so you gotta be below it, right?
Yeah, and I talked to Lavery today, and a lot of places go to a max of 28, because sometimes we will ask a part-time person to stay and cover hours for like Lisa or something, which put them up to 30. If you have them at 30 all the time, and you do that, theoretically, eventually they could come in and say, you know, out of the 26 out of the last 32 weeks, I worked 32 hours, I want my benefits, so.
Yeah, no,
So I think,
makes sense.
so we had talked before, we just told her to budget for 30 hours. And then we're gonna keep it at 28 hours, right?
Right.
So that way, in case we ever ask someone to stay for the 28 for an hour or two, we have the money in there for it.
Yeah, because I think when
Because
I,
we're already in March, so the 28 hours is covered for everybody.
I think the, yeah, when I looked it up on the IRS website for ACA, it says 30 on average for the week, but not to exceed 130 in a month.
Mhm.
So you can go over a little bit, but you
Yeah.
just can't make it, it can't be above 130 every month.
At least that's why most places do the 28,
28,
leaving a little bit of a
yeah,
buffer.
you lose some buffer, yep. No, good.
Okay, you-
That's what it was explained to me, because if there was times I couldn't show them working consistently more hours than that, because then it would be a thing there that, hey, I'm working this amount of hours.
Yeah.
I could show the last 5-6 weeks I've worked that amount of hours.
Exactly, yeah.
In an emergency for a week or whatever, I
Yeah.
could slate them for
So,
Yeah,
you
you
okay
could
with that,
go
Frank? For the budget for 28 hours? You're gonna, well, you're when we talk stuff. Okay. That was the only thing we had to bring you up to speed on. So we done with the police department?
What was the rest of you guys talked about? So that was the capital item.
That's all we talked about,
Oh,
really.
okay. So we're just doing capital right now, so is that
We
what?
still have to get cap, and then, well, the only other thing to talk about there would be contracting, which has to do with an executive,
Yep.
and so,
Did we go over, I know Joe, you brought up about maybe needing a lawnmower or something last
yeah,
meeting?
well, when we jump to him, I just wanna, if we get Rich done, he could leave.
Oh, okay. I thought he was done. I thought he was done.
Anything else?
No, I think we'll be okay. You can go home.
Jack?
Yeah. So, thank you, chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay. So now we want to go over to Joe, so we can get him out of here. You want to do Joe's cat first, Kathleen? Okay. What do we want to discuss? Paul, you want to take this, or?
Well, we can't discuss the lawnmower yet because we don't know about the bids. So that conversation's gonna have to hold off.
Well, I
Peter,
think,
we referenced
Um,
for the record.
DPW capital budget expenditures, yes.
Leads off with backhoe? Okay.
Mhm.
All right, I'm good.
Now, Joe had looked into leasing, a lease purchase on a backhoe, which we pay for in 6 years' time, was it, Joe?
60 months was...
It's 5 years' time. But there's a respectable amount of interest involved there, which would be with any lease purchase. How dire is the backhoe situation?
I don't know what's that breakdown.
Right. Well,
Like I said, I'm
well,
25 years old, and if I'm going to be digging pipes and stuff like that...
I only have this. I don't see that on.
right, but short of that, what else do you think you're gonna be using it for?
That's probably about it.
That's kinda, well, without knowing,
Besides any emergency, I got a sinkhole now in Tyler Circle, probably gonna take the backhoe, got another one in Cook Court.
Is that one,
Start digging.
is that one in Thomas Stewart Park? Is that, I see the orange fencing around?
Yes, that's one, but we gotta get the county involved, it's in the county right away.
Okay.
Does-
See that, Brad? Did you notice that?
No, where's it?
I saw it, but I thought the fence was down already, or?
No,
or is it still
I
up
just drove
around it?
past it.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's along the road area.
Joe, we've been kicking it around. First off, is there a backhoe available with one of the neighboring towns that would fall under our shared service agreements?
There's backhoes, other towns have backhoes.
Right.
I don't know how they're using it or where they're using it.
Right.
That's the same point. I don't have that. You mean if it water broke down or something like that?
Right, because I don't want to dump a lot of money into this.
I have borrowed
Right.
in the need.
But here's the other option, and again, we're all sharing conversation here, but, renting one on a short-term basis, and let's just say the Rickline Hill project was a week, plus or minus, you know what I'm saying? To rent tobacco out of S&L, it's like $900 and change, if we go pick it up and pay. That might be a more viable option for us right now.
No, I understand. So what you're looking to ask me to do is to get it through for another year?
Well, yeah, but I don't want to see you have to dump big money in it either.
If that would come in, then I guess we'd have to lay out the rental for one.
Right.
Or the repair.
Right.
And that's how I would,
Okay.
average it
The
out.
109 is,
Well,
there's
both.
no lease purchase or anything with these?
What if you need it right away?
No, we can do a
You may
lease
be
purchase,
renting
but
and
the lease
repairing at the
purchase is
same
going
time.
Well...
to end up costing us about $135.
Over how many years?
5.
No.
Five?
They'll help me out with that.
County. You know how we all enter
Yeah.
in, you guys enter in?
I was gonna ask you.
Yes,
we
but
do-
they charge,
Oh, yeah.
where the other towns probably just have to send it back with full fuel.
Yeah,
The question I had is, what about considering a used? I mean, we always price this stuff out at new. I mean, I know a lot of times the county and the state gets rid of equipment and they have auctions. Like, is there any possibility we can look at saving some money by buying a used one? I mean, how many hours do we use the backhoe in a year?
Well, here's what I know about doing used, because we bought a new fire truck. Even if you're going to finance it, you're going to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kathleen, you can't spend more or even drag the payments out over the considered useful life of the machine. And I'll use the example of the ladder truck. We bought that used, we took delivery of it in 2015, I think I put it in service. They wanted to spread it out 7 years. They contacted Pearson with the state codes. They recognize a fire apparatus for 20 years. The 7 years would have bought that fire truck 2 years over its considered useful life, so they ended up having to get a 5-year lease purchase, which 2020, that truck's paid off, and it's 20 years old in 2021.
Mhm.
So that would be the other question. And then there's hours calculated on the machine, figures out in like road miles. There's a calculation. And most of the stuff that, unless you go used, and I could check with John Deere, they have some used equipment and stuff, like it's up a few years older, but it's probably, I wouldn't estimate what the price is. I wouldn't know, because I didn't look at that one. But I'm sure it's going to be a pretty good chain. The big thing here is this machine is a $180,000 machine to a contractor. We're getting a 47% discount using the One Source, it's called One Source, or the NJPA, buyer's bid to the municipalities, the government agencies. Now that will still be there next year, and we're a member of that, along with also, and the salesman told me he was looking at it, the other co-op that we're involved with, which is the educational one, they just got the bid for John Deere, and sometimes that's even a little bit better percentage.
Do you know what kind of warranty this thing comes with?
Warranty is, their standard is 3 years with this, and then you can purchase it.
Is that parts and labor, or is it just parts?
What's that?
Is that parts and labor, or just parts?
I think parts and labor for the first year, and then I believe it's parts for the following 2 years.
What's the life expectancy on a backhoe?
Life expectancy of the backhoe, I could probably, and our backhoe was the primary unit for all but its last 3 years of its life here. And we got 22 years out of that. Now with the wheel loader, I can cut that usage down on the backhoe. That backhoe, if it don't rot out from underneath itself, probably get 30 years out of it.
Well, here's my question is, are we better off doing a lease purchase, even though it's going to cost roughly about $25,000 more? It'd be $27,000 a year if it's at $135,000.
The yield on it is at 5 years, if that amount is 4.50%. The annual payments in fall, the price was $109, but I did forget they offered, and I asked them to look at our old backhoe, and they offered $6,000 trade-in. We probably won't get that at the county.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would reduce that, and it was the upper 109, so I used 104. That 60 months would be $22,709 annually.
How much annual?
$22,709.
See,
And with municipal lease purchase, they have an opt-out clause. Say 3 years from now, the majority changes here, and they look at this figure and they say, no, we don't do it. There's no penalty, John Deere come take it back. But after the 5 years, we own it. So if something falls on hard times,
Well, what I'm
there'll be
thinking,
no bond payment.
what I'm thinking is if we did a lease purchase at 22,000, it's even fine better than I was saying. If you ended up having to rent one for a few weeks a year, 2 out of the 10 months worth of payments would be thrown away anyway, you know? I'm just throwing the idea out there. I'm not really advocating for anything, but
This is exclusively for, like, road projects. Nothing to do with sewer.
Nothing, we don't do anything for sewer yet.
I was trying to charge someone off the sewer.
You don't use it to fix the grates and all that?
Storm drains, that's separate than our sanitary sewer.
you know, before we go
Is
too
it?
deep,
Yes, our storm drains are a separate system.
Probably make it based on-
What's that?
I said we should probably make it
only
based on
half hours.
Some sewer work out of it, right?
Well,
I'm just giving you.
Now, it's never been asked of us before, but if our street needed to be open for a sewer
Right.
situation,
Right.
So Kathleen, if
It's
you do a
there.
lease, arrangement, is that outside of cap? Is it in the,
That's it.
it's in cap?
still.
Forget it. No, I mean, it's a capital or it's not capital?
It's not capital anymore, because now you're just making a payment every year, correct? Yes, that would be,
so the payment goes back in?
Yeah. So we can't even do it. We're so squeezed, not unless you wait till next year.
Well, the other big ticket item you're asking for is the truck. I guess the question is, I think I could with somewhat certainty say we can't afford both. So which one is more important? The truck or the backhoe?
I think the backhoe.
Because it's cheaper?
Well, like I said, I had the backhoe on the top of the list. The truck is near, it's near. Can I have the other 3 trucks last year I took the summer weight off of it and sat, but I had to fix it up to get it going again.
Yeah.
Like I have the same repairs this fall that I had last fall, probably not, but I don't know what the next thing is. I did look at some of the back records. That truck also, the transmission was replaced in 2015. That's not a concern. If I was going to keep it, I'd probably send it down to Fastwell for a week or so and just have them weld up some of the holes in the body to keep the salt from running out everywhere as we're driving up and down the road. But it would only be a salt and a plow truck,
Mhm.
and I could take the summer work off of it. So it'd be keeping tires on it.
So I'm hearing,
Keeping it
I'm hearing the backhoe is more important. That's what I'm
Yes, yes, because there's a lot, I dug how many ditches out Thomas Stewart Park last year with our backhoe, put in so many pipes, did this, did that with it. And what we're looking, I think there's another possibility, another line. I don't know if I gotta dig that, any water problems, but we might get a trencher for that.
Yeah, I think for the line that has to go in, you
Or
can just do a
international or
trencher.
Something like that, but there'll always be work for the backhoe. Like I said, right now, I got 2 sinkholes that I don't know how deep I'm gonna have to dig the roads out to get the concrete down to the mill.
How close are we to hitting the cap anyway, from this year?
Inside, 35,000.
So,
But I have to maneuver some numbers around yet.
well, I'm just trying to figure it, are we better off putting it inside cap and
I'm gonna
doing the
ask John
payment, or?
to be sure about the lease purchase option.
Well, don't the police SUVs go outside the cap? Huh?
SUVs,
They go outside the
they're
cap.
bondable. Yes.
Well, technically, the
So
backhoe's
I'm gonna ask
bondable.
him if we
Well,
enter into a
I'm
lease
thinking that could
purchase.
be outside the cap. That's what I'm thinking. Even the
It
payment.
has something to do with the years of service and all the
Yeah,
other
and that's,
stuff.
yeah, and that's a 20 years of service. So, like, that's why I'm thinking it should be outside the cap.
So let's we get the type numbers on the lease amount, and then get the answer from John.
And just along the lines here, I know we talked about the truck there, but I also have international, and he contacted, and there's a lease purchase available for that, so, and I'll keep that in mind when we talk about this again next year. there's
Yeah.
purchasing options for that.
I mean, on some of these items we're buying, we're setting everything up for the next 20 years, so it's really, I feel better about that than I did with 2 years ago when they had to convince me about bonding for police cars, if you remember, when I just couldn't stand having to bond for that. But, I'm not that I want to bond for it, but I don't mind, I don't think I'd mind a 5-year payment knowing that
We have 20 years.
you're going to get 20 years out of it.
In the current budget right now, we've got the second payment for, is that in the numbers right now, the second payment for the tax appeal? 50,000.
That's when correct gets a surplus, and that's when I paid that out. So,
But it's in
you're going
our
to,
starting surplus.
you're gonna see a reduced surplus next year, but you're starting.
Right, oh, okay, so next year gets,
Right.
because of this payment
Right.
for 19, right. But then it doesn't happen again,
Correct.
so,
And let me back up for a second. When we met with Mike, did we decide on what you want to do with the road projects?
No, we haven't
We're
decided yet.
going to get to that tonight, too, yeah.
Oh, all right, okay.
I think we just want to try to get through his cap items for you.
Okay.
so this one is maybe some, we're saying the truck, and all the items below it are on hold for this year.
Yeah, and then maybe next year we can get that in with a lease purchase or something.
But then
Do you
what's
want
the
to say
next
the
one?
lawnmower we were going to try to get through the open space?
No.
Well, that's why I brought that up, because
Yeah.
I brought it up in the Open Space Committee that you had mentioned that, Joe. So, what was the
For what?
but when we talked about the lawn in OS, what was the consensus there?
Well, we said we have to wait to see what the bid's coming at first before we start time on, because until we know what the outsourced price is, to cut the lawn there,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say whether we should go and, have an hour in. But,
What about the other items down there? The aerator and salt, the Toro, and
Well, the aerator, I just think that we should have had it last year and we should have it this year. I mean, there's going to be seating at the Thomas Stewart Park
yeah,
that's going to need to be done.
I think the cedar aerator is definitely,
And if we're going to try to start to, well, I don't want to make this sound, if we're going to try to start to maintain our park grounds better than it's been in the past, it's an essential piece.
I agree. And I think the aerator cedar, it's primarily for this TSP, I think it can be given a certain,
Well, yeah, but only 20% because it's equipment, right?
No, I'd definitely take out of open space, if it's used entire, well, you're saying it's not going to be.
It's not going to be used in, well, but it's going to be used,
Primarily.
well, primarily, but I mean, it's in our other open space parklands.
Yeah, so I'll take the whole thing out of there.
Yeah, okay, all
So
right.
is this...
Well, the
are
only
these two
other
separate
open
pieces of
space
equipment, or is it one
parkland
and the
is-
same?
Thomas Stewart and
The
the
Angelo.
ball fields.
The ball fields aren't, I don't think they're considered open space. We don't even own Beatty's.
No, I know, well,
And I don't know that Steckers isn't Green Acres, is it? No.
no, Steckers isn't Green Acres.
So, I don't know.
We'll have to figure out
How
what
does
portion of this...
that, does it have to be,
that's such a small portion now.
for it to qualify for open space, it has to be either bought with open space funds, or preserved, or
$1,800.
Green Acres, right?
Are these
So I don't know that would, you'd be able to get that out of open space.
Well,
maybe a portion of it?
yeah.
Yeah, a portion, only the Thomas Stewart portion.
And you won't necessarily aerate the other fields as much as you're going to aerate up there.
Well, at least Stecker Field, because we own it, I'm not so much concerned about the,
I don't know that we
No,
could
no,
take,
Beatty's.
I don't think you could take Stecker maintenance out of OS. I don't know, maybe
No,
you
no,
can.
no, I'm saying that.
No,
if you
right.
take 20% of that, it's still only about 1,800 comes out of our budget, and the rest out of the open space.
Right.
And that would cover, I can't believe that's more than 20% of the use to do those two fields, do you?
Take the
Gus?
rest out of recreation trust?
No.
Only $1,800.
That was what
And this isn't even definite, so we're just putting stuff in caps saying we need it, when we finally get down there with with John, we might be acting some
You
of
know,
this stuff,
pushing
yeah.
this, there's $50,000 sitting
Yeah,
there.
I know, they got a lot of stuff. Is this two pieces of equipment, Joe, or is it?
The aerator attaches, so it's all one.
It's all one piece,
It's all
yeah.
one. It's got the aerator tanks and stuff, because it also, that's what makes the holes, it'll put the seed into the ground.
So you can't use the aerator without the cedar
That's
attachment on it?
control.
Or
That,
And
is the aerator a separate attachment?
it's drug by
So it's gonna be about
cedar box is
$1,800
first,
instead of $86.
track.
Okay, so it is one,
Tractor,
Yeah, it's one piece.
one piece.
On the bottom.
That's otherwise $1,800 out of our budget.
right, that's right, yes.
No, that's not bad. It's
The
not
rest
really
of
a
the
bad
year,
number
it's
for
taken out of our
that.
budget.
Yeah.
How big is it?
That's a pretty good number, that's also through one of the co-ops also.
How wide is the area then?
What's that?
How wide is it?
There's 5 feet.
Yeah, I'm thinking 5, Joe, I think it was 5.
Four to small, our small John Deere will handle
Right.
that 30 horsepower. That's.
You know, it's 5 foot wide by and it's probably 3.5 foot long.
We skipped the, salt liquid brine slide-in unit. Or brim slide-in unit, sorry. Is that one, what is that one? Is that one that, it's a new piece of equipment?
Well, that would be that's a new venture. That would be for pre-doing some hills and stuff like that. Right now that I'm pre-salting, that day before, and the salt's either get bounced off the road and stuff. Pretty much with the state still. We wouldn't need a facility for it. I can purchase the brine from the state yard right over in Wilkes-Barre. It's account which come out of the salt budget.
How many, gallons does it hold?
It's a 360-gallon tank, and it will do 6 lane miles.
So one fill would take care of all your...
I don't know. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I would do all of New Village Road and Fox Run, both lanes. Stones Crossing coming down the hill, South Main Street can be treacherous. Washington Street, the hill here, Rickline Road coming down towards 57. We've seen slide marks coming down there. The backside of the hill, Rickline Road, don't get a lot of sun in the winter time, and I have icing conditions and stuff there. And then if I had any left over, I would designate it to the high traffic areas like Dumont Road and Strikers Road, where we get even in the snow, we got a lot of high traffic going in there, truck traffic. It would give us that much more chance to get out there and then get salt in there when it's wet. Because while it's still wet and you put rock salt on it, that helps make a brine too. And that's what the stage uses the technology. They get it brine, it keeps it wet, and then when you're out there on the highway, if you ever notice, you see them and they're out spreading rock salt when it's wet, because it breaks the rock salt down and keeps making a brine until it starts snowing really inches of an hour.
With that being said, what would you think? It's 1.5 miles, Fox Farm and New Village Road in one direction?
I have that, yes. It's about one, New Village Road up and to the back is 1 mile one direction.
Right.
So that would be 2 miles, 3 miles. Right
3 miles, that's what I'm saying. 3 miles right there,
Right there.
Washington
Are we
Street.
paying for this?
I would just go to,
That's what we're trying
I
to
think I'd just go to the top of
Not fine.
Willard Road right there, right there.
Right.
Line. I'm gonna say.
Quarter,
Yeah,
maybe a little stronger.
A half for the.
Go half.
lanes.
Rickline Hill is going to burn up another mile.
This 20
So we're at 3, 4, we're at 5 right there before you empty out the tank. So there's not much left.
No,
No. And to refill that, we've got to go all the way.
just the Bloomsbury,
Oh, because the state was going to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
All right. That's not too bad.
When would the payments kick in for the backhoe? Just curious.
Is that something you get this year, or is there a waiting list for them?
I don't know, I'd have to ask them, I didn't ask them, I don't know if it would be the following year.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it needs to be in this budget. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. If you can put it on
Well, at
order.
least half of it anyway. I mean, it's going to be June,
Yeah.
you know, before we get
That's what I'm
anything
saying, it may
accomplished.
not,
I don't know if they need the payment, I could ask, see when it kicked in.
Right.
I don't think it says it here.
I mean, yeah, we could almost, go down to, half of it anyway, right?
yeah, or the 22,000 right annually, so that whenever that first payment kicks in, we could push it till next year.
I know the lawnmower, we, said that, wait for the bids, but what size mower is that? Is that a 72 inch?
Yes.
And is this the same piece of equipment you have now, or is it just, this is just a mower?
No, it's just a mower, but it will take the conversion to the winter machine if needed, if we had a problem with the other power source for the winter machine.
Right, because we had talked about, because I know you were, Brad, you were talking about maybe
Next year's
just
budget
buying a
comes in,
specific
so you
mower,
have the winter.
but for $5,000 more, it will fit everything that we have. Because a 72 inch is going to be $15,000 regardless.
That's a good point. What about the...
So 20 is, and making it compatible to everything that we have, I could almost see that.
That's taken into account. That's what affordable housing.
Okay. All right, so the salt, that seems like a yes, the lawnmower, we have to wait. The grass, the cedar aerator, we said, yes.
Yes, the salt spreader for the park, I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say no, but I mean, if there's money available in open space, maybe not this year, but next year. Because that should start to rebuild itself next year, open space, right?
For what?
Mower? No, the salt spreader for the park. Because I do see it coming, people are going to want to use that, have had, in the winter. I mean, there was people on it when it was snow covered, and we don't have signs up there that says the park's officially closed during bad weather. I'm not going to push that or anything, but I do see that coming, that it's going to be requested. But again, we don't necessarily need to do that one this year, because nobody's come up this year. We could kind of get by with that for another season yet.
Right.
And then what's this last one? The rammer, jumping jack?
Oh, it's a jumping jack, to be quite honest, you were everywhere here.
Yeah, that's a compactor for these ditches and stuff where we're doing pipes, the compaction material and stuff. It's probably something I should have had.
Well, when Joe told me he didn't even have it,
For as long as I've worked there.
I was super surprised that they didn't have it. That's such an essential piece of equipment for
Is it the
doing any
vibrating one,
base.
that little vibrator thing, or is it the one that
No,
passes?
it's-
Jumping
it's
jack,
jumping
yeah.
It's for dirt and stuff. I have a vibrator plate for it.
Okay.
Right, and the vibrator plate is just not, trench,
It's just for smoothing out.
big- right,
yeah.
yeah, so the jumping jack is an essential piece.
So Kathleen, you know what you're putting in here? If not, we have to recapitulate for you,
So we are
mean, what-
waiting on whether we're going to do a lease,
right?
and then the meter and the aerator.
Right.
Hopefully Joe can get
And
you
then,
the number on
the
the
salt-
lease.
the salt
What
liquid?
we need for the
Salt.
salt.
Yeah, when it's due and.
$5,000.
and
5,000
The brine or whatever.
Yeah.
salt liquid brine supply in the unit.
And material-wise, it'll just come out of
That's it,
the
right?
current rock salt
And now
budget,
he's
so.
talking about the
Yes.
small-
Right, so we don't need to worry about anything extra for there. And then the rammer on the bottom there, Kathleen,
We're doing that.
It really
How much
is.
is that?
$2,700.
Unless it could be added to the O&A.
I would do that,
That way there, they'll have to come out.
yeah, and then 2,700.
Yeah, it's 20, the guy said high 25, 26, so I said 26.
Yeah, and I looked at your operating capital, and it looked like there was a little room there.
Yeah, like I said, right now, I've been, some of my numbers is, and once again, is the blacktop price. I don't know what blacktop is, and also my operating numbers up high, but it's also showing the DPW putting down $33,000 worth of asphalt in that Titans area for on the free roads, so it's pretty bad. And I know we talked, you mentioned something about maybe the 250,000 there, but then we have a set of roads that we gotta make a decision on, so it might be there. So, if not, then we'll come up with something else, or wait until the next one, put asphalt down there, and I'll just try to patch it together.
Okay. What do we have in capital reserve right now? Do you know, Kathleen? I thought we had like 70 grand or something like that,
No,
25?
34?
They can say,
yeah,
$4,000
there was two capital fund balance and capital improvement fund line, I want to say, might be 50.
And we were putting something in there every year, right?
We put in capital improvement fund last year, 25,000.
25. So if we take from that fund, I mean, these three items, not counting the backhoe, right, are 2,700, 8,600, and 5,000. That's 16,300 bucks.
If we can find that ordinance, that old land acquisition ordinance from 2003, depending on how that was funded, that could go back to the capital improvement fund. But if it was funded like via a bond or something, they have to go back to reserve to pay debt service. I'll find out the bond.
So we haven't been drawing down that balance then?
It's been sitting for...
But we put 25 in last year, the capital improvement fund.
Mhm.
So why can't we just use that for this one?
We
use it all?
Down payment for your bond.
Okay.
The grass seeder though, Brad, I think we said only 1,800's going to the town, the rest to OS.
Well, what's the other way around? Is it 20%?
20%.
Yeah,
Yes. No, 80% to OS.
Oh.
Because those two fields aren't going to be, no way they're 80%.
Just Stecker, yeah.
We own.
Yeah.
Beatty's Road, we don't.
All right,
own.
so it's even less, so,
And so we could use it to seed and do that.
Yeah.
The Stecker Park gets.
I mean, well, I just want to say 20% spare
Yeah.
for the town to pay.
so let's call it,
The Stecker Park gets used, and I don't know what the grant plan will be there for the fall sports, but we put 4 smaller fields all in the grass field for soccer. It's the little, I guess they call it the little kickers. They play up there, there's 4.
Yeah.
Did you change the ordinances to combine open space and recreation? Or that didn't happen?
no, recreation's not combined with OS. OS is...
We just changed them from commission
OS
to
is,
commission.
OS and parks, but rest is rec.
So 80% will stay in open space?
Yes. That's what I was thought. I mean, because I think 20% for the town is more than fair for one
Yeah.
field.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's not like we're ripping off the open space.
Right, it's
Yeah.
1,800, so that's, 30, 45, it's like 10 grand total. Plus chief's 24, it's at 34,000 so far on capital. Without the backhoe we need to.
Okay. What's next?
Wait, 30,
Oh, roads, yeah.
34, what, you adding in the
With the
backhoe?
chief, no, that's
No,
not.
he's not.
Oh.
We're about 10 grand on buildings and 24 from the chief, so it's 34. I'm just doing the rounding.
Okay.
Roads, where we stand with that? What do we want to do? What do we got budgeted? What did we figure the number was?
Well, you got-
5 something, right?
Well, I really want you to not cancel, but let it lapse to your fund balance and not use that money. But if you want to use the money, then we bring it in and you're going to have 500,000, so we budgeted 250 this year.
And why would you like it to lapse? Like, what would that do?
Because you're going to have no fund balance next year between the tax appeal and you hardly have any appropriation reserve money.
So we have the grant for Washington Street, right, the grant,
Mhm.
like
25.
No, it was 150.
I think it's 155.
155?
155.
But it's part of this Pace Setter OU2 project, so we can't do it anyway.
Right now, Washington Street's one part of the lanes that we've done, but also, I think, isn't that only an 80% grant? The town has to have so much money, and not part of that too?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Have to
yes,
add.
that's
Yeah.
only an 80% grant, and there are 80 or 90%, and the town has to fund 10 or 20%.
But I
Right.
thought Mike said it wasn't going to get done this year anyway.
We had that with.
Well, Mike's concerned about it not getting done. I personally, I can see Washington Street getting done.
I think his number's what? That number's gonna be light. We're gonna probably come in another $100,000 with that. He's talking Washington Street from Franklin Line to Quaker Line. That's gonna be
Where's the
like
Franklin line? How far up is that? it's past,
Washington Street is about a mile long. You go up past Stecker Park, and right before, the best thing I give you is
Before that
right where
bridge?
the road bends to the right a little bit there.
No,
And the
before that
speed
road.
limit signs change, that's about the township.
If you would actually drive up there, the road actually changes,
Yep.
and that's the line.
so you go straight past,
Stecker Field, right.
Go straight, and then it's,
Probably
I
a
only go by the telephone.
couple hundred yards down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say
so from
probably
there all the way down to the blinking light, so we know what
155 in Grant.
is to cut 150, yeah, which is not going to cover it. But so if we put,
But again, it's only half.
Well, not always,
Not
because
always.
we're only half of Washington Street from Strunk Lane up to Willow Grove is gonna get done.
All right.
One lane. So really, it's about a little under half to a
Right,
three-eighths.
right.
You got 2 lanes from the blinking light up to Strunk Lane, which is the fire hydrants there, 500 feet, there's 2 of them there, there's about 1,000 foot from there to Strunk Lane, 2 lanes work right there. So Washington Street's a mile long from Blinker Lake to Franklin Lake.
Well, we would, yeah.
No storm inlets and stuff like that, but that's the other issue there. There's 14 storm inlets from the center Blinken Light to Willow Grove Road on Washington Street.
The pay setters, even if the water project does their end and has it, half of it done this year, massive improvement.
Absolutely.
So I don't know that we have to rush to do the other half. It'd be nice, but everybody will be thrilled to death to get half of it done.
Yeah, they'll be all riding in that lane.
They'll all be riding in that lane, but, and again, because I know we were talking about this and we were looking at the roads, and over the last week, I personally tried to go over some of the worst roads here. And our worst roads are by no means anywhere near horrible. There's no potholes, there's no front end busting things. Even the one that we were talking about with the curb deterioration, it's actually very limited area, and stuff like that. So there's no road here, even though we have a schedule that is super pressing. You can go to other communities.
There's a Strikers Road of about 7, 8 years ago. Remember that? That was like Kuwait.
Right.
That was really bad.
But we don't have that anywhere. And fortunately, most of the county roads and the state roads take up the heaviest of traffic. Washington Street is certainly a problem. Greenwood Street too, but that's a county road. So, and I think it's so important that we do stay onto the road schedule, but I also don't think we're in panic mode either.
Okay, so, are you okay with letting her let that 250?
Well, maybe some of it. I'm not saying all of it.
You'll thank me next year.
What do you guys think?
If we can let it lapse on it, I agree.
So,
You think it would make us much more sound for next year if we let it
there's
lapse?
no doubt.
And I agree with her, Joe.
Them other half of roads that are getting paid if you wait a year, I don't think it's not that detrimental. If it gets pushed out 5, you're gonna notice a difference, and you're gonna have a half of the road wearing out
Yeah.
that much sooner than the other. And, but a year, I think a year, that new road and what's there, you could live with. And
Right.
Next time,
Right, I think so.
the whole road should be done.
Sure.
But to wait 1 year is no big deal. To get into 4 or 5 years and we didn't do it, it's gonna be real recognizable, and it's not gonna be
We're talking what we would do if we left that 250 lapse, like you suggested for next year.
yeah, so my thought on that is, I just noticed the clock's wrong. If we don't let it lapse, like if we carry it over and we don't use it, then it just comes back next year.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
Yeah,
you
that's
want.
what she said.
I know, but I'm saying, but by not putting it in, then we can't use it this year.
Well, you already have 250 in now.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is if we put the 500 in, and let's say we only use 3 of it,
But that, it doesn't last till the next
till
year.
the next year, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, the 2020 budget,
But how does that help us?
because $250,000 you'll have in the 2020 budget for surplus. But if you bring in 500,000, you won't have anything in 2020. It won't last until the next year. It's a 2-year cycle.
I like that idea.
What can we get done with $250,000, Paul? And
That's what we talked about last week.
Well,
We can do enough that people will see that we're still working on roads. Yes. I mean, it's barely enough, but it's enough.
but the idea was...
But wouldn't you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's not, we're never going to catch up.
But I don't know if you heard Joe either. He thinks we can get by another year.
For
the roads.
which roads?
The Pay Center development, I think if Montana got done with that, their half, we could survive a year until, but I wouldn't go much further than that.
So if
To
they're
do
gonna-
the other lanes.
The half they're going to do is, it's the big loop around, or is it all the streets?
All the streets.
It's wherever the water line goes through, and I talked to one of the field guys, they have multiple spots, and I think it's intersections and stuff, where they're gonna be doing both lanes.
Both lanes,
Where
yes.
there's a lot of.
Mike had told us that,
areas
yes.
that's-
Yeah.
And odds are they're not going to do that until next year.
I see it being done late this year, but not in any time, early fall, not in time for us to add to the project. But, yeah, I'd be hard pressed to see them push that all the way into next
So
year.
I guess my question is, are we better off letting it lapse, push it into next year? If we put 250 again in the next year, then we have 500 and attack that aggressively next year?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Or we use it for something else that might come out.
Well, that's, that's kind of
It
where
gives
I'm
us
at, too.
flexibility.
It gives us flexibility,
Yeah.
right.
Now, what do you think, Brad? You're the money guy, let's hear it. If you don't agree with that,
Well,
explain why, what we would...
Well, I mean, there's two ways to approach the capital stuff. I mean, one is we should, and I said this last year, is like I feel like we should be adding and designating some of the tax that we collect for capital projects, like the roads and equipment, so that, what's our current tax rate? 51 cents? 52 cents? Is it on here? I have like 51.7 in my head.
51.
So, like, my opinion is like, we should have, 7 cents dedicated to just capital, so that you don't touch it, and the rest of it is for operating. Because 7 cents is equivalent to what, $420,000 a year, and you figure out how many miles of roads we have and the equipment. The rough math I was doing is we needed somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000.
Right, now I remember that number, right.
So right now, we don't have anything, quote, dedicated to capital, so I think you can let some of it lapse, but at the same time, I think we should really focus on building up some dedication to the capital so that we don't have to bond all the time. I mean, you have to bond just to cover, like, your timing of the cash flows, but the tax would be there to pay that off without having to raise it.
And what would be,
Simply in any one year.
what would be the reason, I mean, what difference does it make if we let it lapse and then we have 500,000 next year, I guess is my question, right?
Then you don't, then you
It's not
can't
like we're
do it
getting
this
rid of
year.
it. We at least
Yeah,
have-
so then you don't have the option of doing anything this year then.
We have
other than
250,000.
The 250, right.
And then next year, we put 250 and we could be aggressive with the 500. I wonder if
Or give us flexibility.
I don't know, I just feel like we put it in this year, we put it in...
we gotta stop
18.
kicking the can down the road, I agree on that.
Yeah, so we
I
put
agree.
250 and 18, we did nothing.
What kind of tax increase are you guys comfortable with?
Well, I guess we should
We may
probably
be having
start
this,
that.
we may be having this discussion all over again once you give us the final numbers, so...
But really,
I mean, we already know we're at 2.8.
That's the bottom
Right.
line.
Well, that's the inside
Right.
the cap, which is not capital items, that doesn't even address any of the capital.
Right, I mean, if you tell
Items.
me, take it up to this percentage increase, and you're fine with that, to put it all towards capital, fine.
Last year, we added, didn't we add like penny for capital.
Yes.
So like, we should do a penny a year until we get to that, you know, the 6 or 7 cents. So you don't have to ask for a big bond payment or, you know, a big increase in any one year. You should gradually build it up.
No, it's a good thought, but how do you prevent future town committees from
Well,
rating it?
You're right.
you
And
can't.
that's what's gonna happen.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So-
somebody else will come in.
It's a great-
And they're gonna
say
after the first
it.
year, say, we're gonna give you 0 to
Yeah, they're gonna say, we're gonna hold off on fixing
You
the
know what?
roads,
But we can't control
Yeah.
that.
and we're gonna give 0 tax increase.
No, right, right. And I'm on board with,
We can't leave the nut
from
there,
last year to
so
this
we
year.
take the nut.
I'm on board putting money away for that. You know, I know last year we did some, but we also X
And if you
some.
could guarantee what it's gonna be used for, which you can't.
You can't. Well, we've
And
got to
it's just like
trust,
everything else, it's just like every other fund that sits there. Well, we got all this, sewer fund, let's use it to build the
This
sewer.
department is probably the best example of what has happened over the years. It was obvious, every time they wanted to save a penny off the tax rate, they said no to a truck that year. You know, trucks are 2 pennies even. So if they were looking at 2-cent increase, they were saying, okay, let's just nix the dump truck, and that's why we bought so many dump trucks in 3 years.
But this is beyond, this is a rating, this is like a rating a fund, which I know what's gonna happen.
We don't have that long updated spreadsheet. Remember,
I wish there was a way we could protect it.
Yeah, I hear you. That's
We
the
put-
iPhone in it.
when we put the extra
Yeah, you
penny
can try
in,
to put people-
that went towards
You don't have to put it in the
payments.
ordinance, this can only be used for capital.
well, I thought I asked Mike Lavery that, Frank.
Huh?
I thought I asked Mike Lavery that because that was my thought about trying to protect it.
You can, but the new committee can
And you
just change
can't.
the
Right,
ordinance.
that's pretty much what he said.
But that's a bigger procedure. That's really letting the public know,
No.
we're going this far, that we're changing an ordinance, that's really going, they're gonna have to really explain it, you know? Instead of just saying it's there, we're taking it.
Well, yeah.
But I don't even know if we could do that. I don't know if we could protect a fund like that.
No, Mike said you could do
Money
it, you could do
can
that.
only be used for capital
Okay, yeah,
items.
it's illegal, I'm sure it'll be a legal ordinance, but like I said, the thing is, the next committee could change it, but you're right, it would be,
So
They would
explain
have to
that.
go through a little bit
'cause-
more hoops to...
If we were to-
Money that you put
they'd have to have the
into
public hearing
your
before they,
capital
you know.
improvement fund,
Right.
it's transferred over to your capital account, but it can only be used for capital purchases. So a future committee could say, well, I don't want to put it towards roads, but I want to buy 5 loaders.
Yeah.
But it has to be capital. Capital fund balance can be brought back into the budget to offset increases. But if you're putting it in capital improvement fund, it stays there.
And what do we have in there right now? What's the capital improvement fund balance? That's the-
10,000, I think.
that's the thing. So we could
And the
put
capital
in...
fund is,
The fund balance,
how much?
I want to say there was 26,000 in there.
But that's the one you were saying, you don't know how it got in there originally.
But we had a premium from the bond, or the band sale from last year, so that money went in there.
So we can put in, hypothetically, if we were to put in a penny this year for capital, you could put the equivalent of that, at $60,000 into the capital improvement fund, in which case it locks it in there, and you can't use it for anything other than capital.
Yes, absolutely.
And that would fund, everything on here, plus you'd have another 25,000 left. Because the equipment is 24 for the police, and then another 10 for...
It's all what you're comfortable with the tax rate.
That's what's gonna determine it in my mind.
So if we're at 51 now, you're saying we're at 51 cents?
You had a 2.8 cent tax increase.
Oh, yeah,
But
3 cents
51
in there for
is,
now.
what's our current
Might as well say 3.
pennies, current tax assessment?
It was $77 a year on,
So 2.8.
I got it
1
right.
cent
I got it right
is,
here.
$27.
Average $77.
$77 increase on a,
277?
on a home assessed at,
$77 annual increase to a home assessed at approximately $272.
right,
That's the average price in the township.
that's right now without us adding anything else.
Right.
So you're at $77 increase without doing anything else.
Yeah, and I know we've all talked to people because of the affordable housing situation, and I had just a lot of people tell me that they would be willing to spend more to, A, Keep the green and green, which, I had people telling me they'd be willing to spend more to keep distribution clean out. You know, even though there's a group of people that said, Paul, we gotta get ratables. And I said, well, you know what kind of ratables are available right now? Everything you don't want.
Right.
You know, so I don't know what to tell you.
Mhm.
But people were willing to spend. I think, and yes, there is a segment of the population that are going to be financially challenged with any type of an increase, but there's a respectable amount of people there that are willing to pay a little bit more to keep things right.
Mhm.
So I know that we're trying to be fiscally responsible and frugal and all that, and I don't know what the percentage is, but it seems to me that lots of people were willing to spend more.
Well, you know, and I agree with you with that. And I never really made it a secret that I was always interested in at least entertaining or listening to ratables, you know that as well.
Well, me too.
And
I think we're-
I think we had a resounding,
Yeah,
we don't want that.
yeah.
Well, I do think that big resigning was a small percentage in an area,
There
but,
are people who always said we needed to get some radiable stuff, but even some of the ones closer to where anything's gonna go started saying, you know what, maybe I'd rather just pay the little bit extra than to
I
have.
think that monstrosity on 22 have a lot of people thinking twice about having that in our town. Even half of that.
right.
Because that alone is gonna bring
Well,
truck traffic
and
in.
with that being said, I know we've talked about the distribution. It's not a win-win for the municipality. It's a win-win for the school, and it's a win-win for the county. I mean, we're getting 17% of whatever that number is.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and assuming it was $400,000, that's, you know,
Yeah.
that is not going to bring us, it's not going to fix the problem.
Yeah, I think adding to the truck problem is just not a good idea anymore.
And other ratables would be housing, and that's usually
Right.
considered a loser. But from a municipal purpose, it would be that many more people spread
Spread their budget around, right?
But then that's going to slam the schools if they have to do additions.
Listen, I've been saying this all along, we have to rethink, the town's gonna have to
Yeah.
rethink how we handle the future growth,
Yeah.
because right now, the only future growth we're getting are low-income housing.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was one of the things we said we wanted to talk about
Right.
in a land use board.
So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I think the land use board has to really work with the planner and stuff and see what the future...
So, with that being said, let's not
Money's
be...
going to come from somewhere. Either houses
Right,
or it's gonna
right.
come
Let's
from-
not be completely afraid of a tax increase that might be just a little bit above average of late. You
Well,
know?
let's see what it is.
But we need to see what that number
Let's see
is.
where it goes.
So, then going back to letting the 250 lapse, I guess the only downside of doing that is then you ruled out doing anything more than 250 in 19, so you really don't.
Well, I mean, is that what we're all agreeing to then? I mean,
I-
don't know.
that's what
I'm
I
saying.
mean-
I'm saying, I don't know.
I'd like to,
I mean, it sounds like you'd like to not let, well, at least not let it all
Well,
lapse.
one is, so we have the grant for this street, we don't,
Right.
and as Joe pointed out, we have to pony up the remainder of it, and we don't know what that's gonna be. Is that gonna be 250? I mean, is it the other part of it?
Yeah.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think that's gonna be ready to do anything with this year.
yeah, that's probably true
So
also.
if we don't do that, you know, if we don't, that's Washington, right?
Right.
If we don't do Pacer, what was the next road on the list?
Oh, Mike had a,
Yeah,
Mike
we,
brought it up last meeting.
Well, I mean, it was Bradford was talked about,
Yeah, I don't, Bradford, Alden,
Alden,
yeah.
Kennedy Mill, was it Kennedy
Yeah,
Mill?
The word needs,
Kennedy
right?
Mills,
I gotta go drive on,
Bradford.
Bradford's not as old as,
Alden is
Some of these
four,
other-
I was probably wrong, I said
Robertson is
25
three.
last year,
It's,
last week, but it's 20. I bet you it's 20.
Alden's gotta be older.
But I tell you what, my son is like 33, and he was only about 10 when he was starting to ride his bikes on those roads, so I kind of remember that. So it's about 20 years that Bradford's been in.
Yeah, that's probably about right, because when I started here, it wasn't much, 89, 90, Birch Lane was done, and then about, right before they started Storch Hunt, he started Greenwich Hills south down there.
This has
For 26,
Smock, Dumont, Ridgeline.
Yeah.
West Avenue was done, right?
yeah, Birch was done already, right?
Birch was done.
So we're down to, it was Alden, Bradford, and Lauren were on here. But I thought then Mike moved up Kennedy, Mill, and Robert for some reason.
He did. He said number 1, Kennedy Mill.
Mm-hmm.
He said number 2, Bradford. He said number 3, Robert Place. Number 4, Alden Road.
Okay, that sounds
Right.
right.
Then why
That's
is,
how he did it.
Yeah,
what about the
Because
top?
this list is old, he said.
yeah.
So Strunk, Dumont, and Ridgeline?
Well, Strunk is actually part of the water.
All right.
It's an alley, and that's part of the water thing.
Well, now, what about the rest of Dumont? 'Cause
Well, but he was gonna apply for a grant for the rest of Dumont.
Okay, and then Ridgeline?
And then Rick Line Hill, is that on your list, or that's not on anybody's list? No, so, and that's probably one that needs to be somewhere around there. Water Tower Road's gonna have half of it dealt with, right?
I know they're only going up, which was really named Broad Street. from
Yeah, right.
That's the only place they got cut, unless they're just paving it for us, because I don't think there's
Got it.
any lines down there.
And Cedar Alley, to be quite honest, is, that's a no-man one way down the road from now.
Well, going by the list on the worst, how far can we get on the list on 250,000?
Including his...
It is what it is. I mean, he's gonna just go down the list until the money's gone.
That's what
Well,
happens.
Bradford's not,
What do we
Now,
think it
these
is?
costs are not up to date.
yeah, these costs aren't up to date.
I looked at the co-op, and it is, when we did the roads in 2017, they were putting it down for $61 a ton. It's 75 something a ton this year, and that's not counting the milling. That's just putting all the blacktops, putting the blacktops down. It's $2.95 a square unit.
When's the new local asphalt plant kicking in?
This spring.
We're using the Martin
This
County
spring.
co-op right now. That way we don't have to put it...
We're gonna
on
take the
bid.
pollution, they should give us a little discount.
So, let's say 250,000, would that cover Bradford?
Well, we'd easily cover Bradford.
Would it cover Robert or Kennedy Mill then?
Well, one, not both, I would think, wouldn't you, right?
Because there's some pretty, like I said, that would
Okay.
have to be milled down. The deeper you go milling, the more...
Right.
Kennedy Mill gets more traffic than Robert.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't argue that, right.
And you said we could maybe just fix that 15 feet or so?
I think so, yeah.
So, out of 250, are we saying Bradford could be done, Kennedy Mill could be done, and the 15 feet on the
Well,
road?
yeah, maybe, but I'm telling you, I don't know that Bradford should be a priority.
And then there's nothing left for...
I'm on it.
Alden?
Bradford's not that bad. I don't understand why it's even high on the list.
Well, then,
Where's
I could go on
Bradford?
Williver, the back end of Williver is like,
Well, there's some problem on Williver. No, right, Joe, yeah, there's some problems on Williver.
that's why, like, I was saying, like, Bradford's newer than Williver, it's newer than Kennedy Mill.
And the only thing I'm gonna say is, in your neighborhood, that was a Toll Brothers construction, and boy, I gotta tell you, if there was a shortcut to take, it was taken.
You can't
No, no, no.
You know, so it's not surprising that things
Oh,
aren't there.
okay, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I've been on Bradford, and sure, it's marked up from crack fixing and stuff, but it's not in ready to fail.
how about Alden? Does Alden need to be done?
I think Alden's in pretty decent shape too,
I
wouldn't
was
you?
gonna crack seal that this year.
I think Alden,
That's got some big...
Alden's got some,
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, no, exactly, you do that, but,
That'll make a big difference.
right, but exactly, it'll make a big, but you go up to Monroe, in Greenwich Station, there's cracks in that road across the whole thing, an inch and a half thick. There's not enough crack to fill it, one of those.
why don't we do this? Rather than just saying 250 or 0, why don't we just say, why don't we keep some of it?
Right.
And like, take 250 for this year, maybe add another 75 and make it 3 1/4, and then let 175 lapse. Because 3 1/4 will probably get us a better shot at.
And Joe,
Completing something.
and let's not ask Mike, you know which roads are horrible. But call Tilcon, because you said they'll come down and estimate it.
Yeah, let's
Call
get
Tilcon.
someone...
Let's out of the loop,
Right.
call Tilcon and get up to 275, 290. You know, if we're gonna keep that much in
We
there.
need some for Miller,
3
right?
1/4.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's gonna have to,
But
I can
to
figure out the
Kathleen's
square
point, we have to
yardage
pay the
and stuff.
engineer.
I can do that.
oh, you can do that without bringing them down
I
here?
can do that.
Okay. let's just get that number.
Yeah, let's get some numbers so we know.
You want me to look at Bradford, Kennedy Mill, and Roberts Place then?
And we're over.
I wanted you to look at the 3 roads you think are the worst.
Are the worst roads,
Yeah,
right.
in your opinion.
I'll look at his list and then I'll go out and see.
And I know that we've talked about Williver before. You know, I mean, that road has got some serious
And you know
issues.
what, Joe? I always hate that we always wait until last minute budget to do the 3 that you think are the worst that we could do for like the 300 this year. And let us know what you think it definitely have to be done next year. So we might as well start thinking
Well,
ahead of what we're
Next
doing.
year, it's gonna be Pincer.
Okay, yeah.
But now, with that being said, where is Rickline falling into this? You know, because that's up there at the top of the list. I don't drive on that road a whole lot, but,
And
Well,
Washington.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, between Washington Street and 57, it's not that bad. Some
Right.
side work done there.
and is that the stretch that we were talking about?
I don't know, he has Rickline Hill is actually north of 57.
Right.
That's where all the houses are.
Right.
So I don't know which one he's calling. I call it Rickline Road between 57 and Washington Street. Rickline Hill is north of Route 57.
Well, and he's got Rickline Hill listed here.
Okay.
You know, my biggest issue when you talk about my neighborhood, the Heights and the Rickline, because there's no curbing, you know,
It don't hold the blacktop.
it don't hold the blacktop,
Yeah,
right?
no, that's-
You know, so you're always going to get cracking on the edges, so it's really what's in the center of the road, not the edges of the road.
Correct.
You know, but yeah, you pick,
Yeah.
you go find $300,000 worth of road.
But that has to include his engineering fees. He has to understand that.
Okay.
Well, why do we even need his engineering fees? What's involved in having a company that come in and, where's their engineering in that?
Well,
I'm
he has
just
to
saying, when we
coordinate
get
the
bills
bids.
for engineering, I have to charge it there.
He has to coordinate the bids, and then he has to make sure they do it in compliance with the bids.
Inspection, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It shouldn't be,
$292,000 for roads. Mike's got that, so $300,000.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I still don't see why, when we're doing a road project, we can't have a DPW person there collecting the receipts. Because that's all Mike's guy does.
That's what I collected in all Thomas Stewart.
Right.
For the whole path.
Right. You know, again, I'm not, they're way more involved than they need
We're
to
better
be.
off, what you're saying, is paying one of our part-time guys to sit there and
Yes.
collect these receipts.
Right. Because Tilcon's already got it figured out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
I
Next
agree
item.
with that.
Yeah,
So we-
I understand the presence to keep them honest, to make sure you get all your loads and stuff like that. I do understand that. And to make sure you get the right yardage going out.
yeah, but they're doing it
But
right.
that's all it is, it's just oversight.
right.
All right, so
Okay.
175, is that the number? Okay. I can live with that.
So they do 3.25.
Oh, no, he's just gonna use this budget in it, yeah. No, that, but maybe next year, Mike.
Okay. So that would be 3 cent savings next year. Like that.
Although, is that like, how's that work? That's improvement? Like that money you bring over next year? That can't be used for anything other than capital?
What the money that's going to lapse.
Yeah.
It'll go to fund balance, so you can bring that back into next year's budget.
Oh, okay,
however
there you go.
want.
Okay, so,
Good to know.
what's the next item? Where are we going from here?
Well, do we want to start line iteming things here on page 2? Or is it, wait a minute, is it page?
What do you got?
Yeah, what you're looking at? The
Page,
budget worksheet?
page
The budget
1.
worksheet?
Budget worksheet, yeah. Or, yeah. Because we'll come up to different conversations as we get here.
You know what? I might need a copy of
Do we
that.
want to finish?
Which one we just
He's
went
got
through?
I
some,
might have to.
he's got
I couldn't find the copy of the other stuff, I think we got one of those.
stuff like Joe's stuff.
I thought we kind of did
Well,
DPW.
capital we did, right?
Yeah.
So what about this other stuff?
Well, I think we'll come across that as we start to get to the operating expenses and employee numbers.
I don't have that.
Budget
No,
worksheet?
why don't you make copies?
That's from 2-2. I have this one.
Use John Mooney's, because it's the complete.
Where's his?
That's this one right here, Kathleen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many pages is that?
4.
Did you get all 4?
Well, actually, it's more
Did
than
you get 4, Lisa? You got 4 pages then?
I don't have that, unless, was it handed out last time?
No, no, it's probably wants to...
Was it handled at this time or the first meeting? The first meeting, that was John was here,
I
right?
wasn't here the first meeting.
One copy of these or just somebody else?
Oh, you know what?
They
Is it underneath?
Brad said he needed.
Brad needs...
Oh, I have it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, only one, looks like Frank has.
You might have it. It's under here. It's underneath, yeah. I got confused too.
I'm like, what pages? I got some.
You got the 226, this is the 22, right?
What do you mean?
So which one are we
Yeah, we
using?
had 226.
226.
You said you used the 22 one though, right?
You're using 22 today?
Oh,
They
it
have
says 226.
We have
The one that Brad and I have are 22.
226.
Oh, you want us to use 226?
I don't have
He
that.
doesn't have that one?
Want a copy?
Oh, I need my copy of that back here.
Oh.
All right, this is yours. Both of these is
I guess not, because nobody wants it, thanks. I have notes on there, so...
226. Okay.
So what are we looking at here?
We're gonna go just down through the line items, and you guys can start, I'll just wait, you wait for yours. That's what Mr. Beckham got traded to the Browns.
Who?
Beckham. Odell Beckham.
Oh, really?
To the Browns?
Yeah.
Oh, man, earlier today, they were talking the Niners were hot for him.
What did the Giants get?
I didn't want the Niners to take him, though.
It didn't say.
Is he the locker room
Odell
disruption?
going to the Browns, that's all I got on the news.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
they had
not.
it. They had it with his antics.
Yeah. It was fun to watch.
Didn't he just get, something just happened with him recently?
It was something to watch, though, wasn't it?
Oh, he's fantastic to watch.
somebody else had the 226.
What did they get for him?
That's what I
First
had.
round?
It was just the breaking news.
I got a 7th-round pick for him?
I had two.
Well, they wanted San Francisco's second-round pick, and they weren't. San Francisco wasn't going to give it up.
Well, he's not going to get a lot of media over, where's he going?
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Did you need the 26 one?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
The quarterback was playing pretty good.
Yeah, no, Cleveland got,
They might actually...
they started playing good football.
DPW over.
Yeah.
They were not the joke.
About with him.
He was pretty good. Good draft picks and everything?
Yeah, they're not bad.
They got Brown.
Antonio Brown is, right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so let's do general government. Realized in 2018 was 47,000 and change. We'd originally adopted 52, budgeted this year is 60. So I think it would be safe to
Knock that down.
knock that down.
Wait a second. What
Page
are you
one.
on?
Page 104.
We need to knock it back
Wait,
to
but what
50.
was, before we start knocking stuff, or adding, what's in this? What's in the general government O&E?
Your legal advertising, what else? What else do we get charged there? I've been charging your website, IT stuff, supplies, office supplies,
So the IT stuff that we spent this year for all the new laptops, that's
Yeah.
in this,
yeah.
47 grand? But now we have new stuff that's being asked, right? We got this Windows change, and
Right.
we need to change over some equipment, right?
Yeah, but that can't cost anywhere near what we spent this year to fix.
Wasn't that in here? We still didn't do that to us.
Yeah, it is in there.
All done with me? That's all?
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Have a good night.
Who's the QB for Cleveland? That's that kid, right? That's
what?
Fantastic. The quarterback for the Browns.
Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, huh?
That's some weapon he just got.
Oh, yeah?
So, what do we need to do upgrade to the Windows? 10, right? Is that what he's saying we need to upgrade to? It says replace all existing Windows 7 computers with new computers with Windows 10, plus or below.
Somebody said last week we weren't doing replacing the actual computer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna replace the hardware.
But if the hardware is old, I mean, does it make
Well,
sense?
what's old?
I don't know. I don't know how old. It's more than 5 years old. I mean,
More than 5 years old is not old. I got a computer at work. We all got 10-year-old computers, and we're in IT, and they work fine. And they're on Windows 10.
So we're saying we're not doing any hardware replacement with this? I'm fine with that as long as it doesn't create an issue, you know? I don't know. So you have 60 in here
Your
now.
computer okay?
Well, yours is one of the newer ones, right? Well, whose are the 7 that are out of
I
date?
think it was just the upgrade, my upgrade.
They're 5 years old, the chief told us, the police. That's not old. You tell me we gotta replace computers every 5 years, we got a problem.
I don't know, I get replaced every 3.
I do too.
What do you mean?
I get a new one every 3 years.
Well, what's that number anyway, Brad?
You get
I
a
don't
new
know.
computer every 3 years on your job? Wow.
We're on 3-year leases. Because the chips are they just, exponentially faster. This is saying budget for replacement here. I recommend a budget for replacement here. It's exponential, it's not.
Everything's running off the web, though, that they don't even need chips anymore.
Hardware costs $16.50 one time.
Everything's cloud-based nowadays, anyway.
Okay.
So just so you know, we budgeted 60 last year. When you look at that middle column, that's modified. That means I transferred money out of that line to cover another line.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
So everything on 2019 proposed was actually what was proposed also in 2018?
Adopted, right. And
Okay.
That's why I said I kept everything flat. So I moved it to cover something that we overexpended on.
And that all took place in November when you moved things, right?
November,
Yeah.
December, yeah.
What am I doing here?
Well, I would,
Where does where do the salaries and all that kind of stuff, they in this line too?
You know, everybody has their own, like municipal clerk, S&W, finance.
Oh, the S&W, got it, all right.
all right, so let's just, with that one, let's just drop that 10% and put $6,000 aside for that. And your operating is 54, you only spend 47, it still gives you a little wiggle room, right?
So what are you proposing for 19?
54,000.
54,000.
And that would be the salary for the municipal clerk for the year.
No.
No,
I'm
It's
not
the general
understanding.
municipal clerk is the next line down.
Okay.
So now, like the municipal clerk, so part of that salary is taken out of sewer, because with the previous clerk, she was at 662,000, some 62,972. Part of that's taken out of the sewer trust fund, so that's why we budgeted the 56,728.
Why don't we budget what the other clerk got?
That's what's here now,
And that's what's budgeted for the current clerk.
right?
Okay, 62. And why does a part of it come out of the sewer? What does it have to do with the sewer?
Any work, we also do that with Maine, the tax collection, with the road department, and this percentage was created before I got here. They take a certain amount for each, whatever work she would do, related throughout the year, take that out of the sewer account, bring it back in to offset this budget.
Where's the would the benefits line, the S&W line too?
No,
No, that's on.
It's a whole separate line.
Can we just
Everybody?
Yeah, why don't we just go right down the list? like, can we start with the mayor? Are we good with the, that one doesn't change, so that's fine. But, what about, so, all right, we're going, we're the municipal clerk, so we are going down. Never mind. Well, Brad just wanted to jump, I was checking.
No, I'm not jumping. I just wanted to
checking
make sure,
Brad.
I wanted to make sure that the line we're looking at, I want to understand what's in it before.
He's pulling up his fancy one or
I didn't do
two
anything yet.
computer.
Yeah, how old's that?
This is about a year.
Oh,
Two years, I gotta wait.
you gotta wait another 2 years, nice.
They lease them. They don't buy them.
Hmm?
They don't buy them, they lease them.
Yeah, I know. But,
Can't even get on this. Go ahead, I'm sorry, don't pause this. So, we have that 56,728 represents X percent of
Current fund
the
portion.
the 62.
Clerk's salary from last year.
So how much do we have for clerk in the sewer? It's the difference between this and what, 62?
60,000, what, I can't even remember, do you remember off
I
the
thought
top
it
of your
was
head?
at 63.
Part of that came out of the COA money,
Okay.
actually out of this budget, she was considered COA officer.
Well, and let's just get, so the math is straight. Lisa, you work 27 hours a week in theory, right?
It varies.
No, I know it varies, but that's kind of what the number was established at. So that was, in my calculator switch, but was 1,404 hours a year at $42 an hour, and that comes up to 58,900 and something.
But we did talk about budgeting a 3% increase.
Well, I haven't got yet, yeah. But, so so we're budgeting 56, so,
Will you tell me what I'm doing with this?
well, at 42, at that average, it's 48.9, so you would have to budget 2,000. Is that what's coming out of sewer towards her salary? Where's that on here?
You don't see that on here?
Okay.
The total that comes out of sewer for everybody's salaries is 36,000. I don't remember the exact amount that we portioned to clerk.
So, can we talk about the increase that we're gonna budget for everybody? Because I don't think we ever decided on what that percentage increase should be.
Yeah, I guess that's the next conversation, yeah.
Adding it, right?
Do you want to talk about that in public, because I think we're going to executive for that if you wanted to, but I don't have a problem talking about it.
Well,
Personally,
Well, the
I don't
only,
either. Right?
none of them have gotten a raise in 3 years.
It's been 3 years. We
So,
haven't- we haven't given
I don't think
anybody a raise.
3% is a lot to give, so.
Yeah, we haven't done anything in...
So I'm okay with 3 unless somebody wants to go higher, unless somebody wants to talk about it lower, but I'm okay with the 3. I'm open for discussion.
if you do 3, are the officers gonna be upset because they're at 2.3?
No, they got 2.33 to 3 years of data, you get anything.
Right, well, that's true too, sure.
And one, they really can't, you really can't mix the apples and the...
Well, I understand that, but there's some of them that are gonna mix those apples and oranges.
What they always tell me in my township is, police are police, public works are public works,
Right.
and township employees are civilian employees. We all get dealt with differently, and I've gotten zeros for 3 years of 20 years of service, and they've all gotten way higher than that, and you can't mix,
Yeah.
like you said, you can't mix the apples. They are what they are. If we haven't given them raises, they definitely deserve 3, and that's even selling them short in my opinion. And I also think that we should bring Lisa up to 60 and then give her 3 on top of that, because she's cleaned up a big mess here for us, and she's always doing more to save money for the township. That I would hate to see, not showing some appreciation back.
You gotta watch what you do though, because before, I call them constitutional officers, I don't know if it's appropriate, but Because you have to have one.
There's a CFO, the tax assessor, the tax collector, and the municipal clerk.
Always have to get the same pay increases.
Even if you raise someone's salary and then give them the 3%?
Yep.
So, do you think,
I mean, I could ask a legal question, but that's my understanding has always been of that, those four
and
positions.
how come we don't have an administrator here? I thought every township has an
You don't need,
administrator.
they're not required.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't have the money for them. I'd love to have one.
Me too.
We've talked about it for years.
Have you been,
Okay.
For clarification, if you're giving a percentage, it is correct to give across the board for all statutory employees. However, if, and what we've been talking about, if Kathleen was in favor of it going to a salary position, it is different. And Mike Rader is complaining.
Well, then I think it's something we probably should discuss and close with Mike here.
Okay.
Yeah, he would do that, but.
That's what I think. Anybody else want to?
I agree with you then, if he would be the one that could.
Yeah, my thinking was, whatever rate we were gonna do, it would be for everybody, even on the, positions that are stipends, or whatever you wanna call them, like all the different,
Like OEM, stuff like that?
all that stuff.
well,
Because
Well-
everything's been frozen.
It is, and I was planning on fighting for Bob Vetcherson for way more than 3%. I mean, his work is darn near generating in recycling tonnage and stuff like that, $8,000, and he's, with the clean communities, he's working on that $20,000. Back in 15, before any of us were on council, that was the big running joke, when the previous person that had left there, that our then clerk said, well, I can get somebody to do it for $500, and it used to pay $1,500. And Bob walked right into it. He's putting in a tremendous amount of time and effort.
Yeah, no, he's very dedicated to it.
Yeah, he's dedicated to it. So I was planning on arguing for, more than
Well,
3%.
then I think what we should do is get the salary list out for our next meeting, go into executive under personnel and have a discussion over the salary.
Okay.
Okay.
But now for Kathleen, for at least budgeting purposes, can we give her a general idea and say, hey, what's 3% of the salary going to be? Just so we have some math? Okay.
Just everyone, whether it's part-time, or salary, or the fixed amounts, everybody but the police, right, because they have some.
And the governing body.
Yeah,
We're not voting for a raise.
No,
Yeah, no,
I agree.
right, exactly, no.
No.
What's, what is, do it in, like, 2.5, 3, like, what's the cost? That's what I want.
I think I gave you those spreadsheets. Didn't I?
And it had everything in it?
I think you did too.
Yep.
I can't believe I'm gonna find paper on my seat. Half my stuff's missing, must have fell out of this when I was coming in.
I don't know that I saw a
You did-
spreadsheet.
I thought she did give this one.
I didn't do DPW because Joe had already given
Yeah.
a breakdown of it, but I'll
Yeah.
send it.
He
Yeah.
did.
I know, I've seen it, I know what you're talking about.
it's hard to determine, though, when you don't know the final budget numbers.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's set in stone.
Yeah.
I can throw 3%
Right.
into this and we can back it out. It's not
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
I actually think finance an easier way to do it. It's easier for me to do it that way, I don't know if that's right. It's easier for me to just throw in everything you think we
And then stuff happening on it.
3% is 6171 across the
When we
board.
find it that,
without
kind
one
of
department. So
tends
now
you
it's
to spend more than you want when you do it
5135,
that way, maybe,
5114.
you know? Because you're only gonna back out a certain percent, no matter what that high number is, you know?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's just
well,
like
I
for
didn't
human
know
nature.
Joe had already given us the number, but.
Okay, got it. What number did he include?
3.
2?
I don't know, but I think he had taken, because last year, a few of them got,
2.
it was like he had taken those. He put 3 in for this year, in his budget, yeah.
All right, so we'll come back to that, I guess.
Yep.
You want me to throw the 3% on to see how.
This is something to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't this what he gave us, 333
Yep.
and 3%
Yeah.
for, did
So
you get
is-
this, Brad?
It is his budget has
Add
3 in
those
it?
numbers to the 6,200, and that's your amount.
What do you have in for him right now? The numbers he gave us?
No,
Flat?
that's the thing, his O&E was way more.
Not the O and E, his S&W.
I think that was also more than I have in there.
For
What are-
Joe's?
What are the numbers?
Him?
For his budget, for S&W and O&E?
I'm the same way. It's all in my back seat.
Yeah.
I probably got a lot of stuff in my car still, so I gotta
Well, I think
organize
mine's
it.
still out. I just looked at it. You know, it's gonna be like on the phone or something where it's really down, and so I walk out, I got it out of the cabinet. Okay, so if we're gonna wait for that, are we pretty much
He's
done
got,
tonight? Anything else?
261,
261 for S&W?
oh, 261.5, so, and what do you have?
I'm curious to see where we're at. I'm really curious.
I'm really,
Yeah, I have this, yeah. it's
When you get the increase that we're at, can you send us an email? I'm just curious.
Oh, but he's got a
Instead of waiting for the meeting.
He has a new position in here.
Two of them, doesn't it? You need to do the position?
Himself, the current CDL, current senior CDL, he's got another new part-time he's cutting back, because we have sort of, and then, yeah, well, he's got 41.6 in here for a new person. And then we could talk about adding more full-time. I'm not comfortable adding a full-time person. I don't know about anybody else.
He said he needed another part-time person just to do the fields,
Mowing, yeah.
Stecker. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think,
Thomas Stewart Park,
yeah, he's not asking for a full-time, right?
All right,
part-time.
looks like a full-time number to me.
All right,
Doesn't say
that's
part-time.
Joe, that's Jeff.
Yeah, he's got the 3 full-time guys, 1, 2, 3, and then you have your part-time here, two part-time members.
Right.
He's going up from 40 part-time to 50.
We're gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
the final numbers in again, and it's
Yeah, that's a full-time person. That's out. Right.
So you have how much in there for him?
I have
Two?
in there 250, 350.
What page is that on? I say, never mind. I got it, yep, got it.
And what
So we're
does-
going through these, because I thought we were gonna go through these again once we get the numbers. Because I know we're gonna go through these again once we get the numbers.
absolutely, right.
So, I think maybe just write down your notes and we'll take care of it, instead of cutting it now. Because I know there's a bunch of things I wrote down when Joe originally did it.
All right, so you want to just keep going down the
Yeah.
page here?
I guess we're not, I guess we're doing it now.
No, not the S&W, but for every line that has S&W, we'll just hold off on, but the other items. So under municipal clerk, we have O&E at $3,000, and elections at 1,800. No, I don't have a problem moving those as is.
Well, okay, but on the O&E, that's what, envelopes or stamps, what's that?
Oh, we're going back down that list.
Yeah.
I know, right, we keep seeing to
So,
supplies, okay.
All right, so you budgeted 3,000, you spent 13, you budgeted 3,000 again this year. I mean, not that it's significant, but if you wanted to grab 500, 750, maybe at the end it adds up to something. I mean, do you see you spending more than that? Lisa, Kathleen?
Everything all right?
Money that way, because
Still
I'm at
talking
Bloomberg,
about
pay
that.
half of everything that I attend, and your stuff that was been fully expended for the previous clerk, because I just put it on the
All right, so, let's just, for the net, let's just put like 750 down there, less for that. Elections, that number really doesn't change.
I think, O&E.
Municipal clerk only,
$750.
$750.
$750?
Yeah.
It's taking it down.
You reduce it by 750.
Oh.
$750.
The elections is printing up $500.
Right.
Right. And then, all right, so then finance,
That comes down to
only
what?
7,
2,250.
yeah. so
Yeah, that doesn't look like there's any room
Civil
there.
service, did they get, well, we don't, this is probably gonna go up.
What part?
I mean, because we have, the new, are they doing the record keeping for us on the, whatchamacallit, the part-time, paid sick time? Yeah, so I wouldn't cut that.
No, I wouldn't think so, yeah. That audit number's not changing.
Audit at 24, I mean, do we, have they given us a proposal at all, or that's?
We
not-
went right past financial administration?
Yes, we're just saying leaving $7,000 on each line item.
Okay.
Audit, 24, that's a real number. Assessment of taxes, S&W, I guess we'll revisit that.
And why is that lower?
Because we hired Jennifer.
Oh, good, that's right, that's right.
And then O&E at 8. Looks like we spent more, looks like you
Now,
need to add
Janice's a new
something to that.
employee, would she get a raise?
What?
Would she be included in the raise amounts?
No, right, because you wait the year
Negotiated that
to,
salary for
right,
this year.
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we could revisit.
But then you have to add, what, like $400?
Okay.
Maybe just move the 750 out of, the 750 you moved out of municipal.
Well, that's what I'm
down
saying,
to
you're
there,
right.
you know? Just
Well-
move it, it's a wash.
Close, well. Collection of taxes. There's nothing really much there to do.
Is there a reason why it's at
Yeah,
41?
why is it up?
Why, well, it was the same as, it didn't go up, it's just more than what was expended. Question is, why aren't we making it go down? So,
Yeah, but
Do we
now I have
charge-
to take we're taking the part-time up to the 28. I don't know what effect it'll, I have to calculate it out.
So is this 36.5, this is Bonnie and Jamie? Is all of Jamie in this line? Or does any part of Jamie get charged to any of the line?
That's all Jamie.
So Jamie goes all in here?
Why wouldn't she be collecting a little bit of money out of the sewer because she's collecting
Well, I am
sewer?
bringing money in from sewer to offset that number.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
I have the breakdown, send it to you.
what about O&E?
Okay.
And what kills that is the advertising and tax sale and the express signs. It's
Yeah, that's
super
expensive. Yeah, it's very expensive.
But even still, if you kept it at 14,000, you're still keeping it 1,000 off of the 2019.
I agree.
All right, so it's
Bring it
nice.
down to 14,
Yeah.
saving pennies here.
Collection of time, yeah, no, pennies will hopefully add up here.
I agree. Well, we went down on miscellaneous, that's good.
Well, I don't think you can,
So,
Illegal.
I was trying to be optimistic with 120.
all right, so the 137 expended, are there any settlement numbers in that approximately? How much?
So
More
what
than one,
what's on the
right?
horizon this year? What do we got for legal? I don't think,
Hopefully nothing, unless
Yeah.
something's,
We have a
New
settlement I have
breaks.
to pay out of there of 40,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Um,
was the one that we
I'm
pushed
hearing
off.
January.
well, there's a thing, now, John Drills last year was almost 50,000 for what he did in January.
that's coming out of general? Or
But
it's coming
I
out
thought
of,
so, yes.
that's not coming
That wasn't coming out of land use, that was coming out of general, right?
for January?
It doesn't matter whether I charge it to land use or legal, you tell me.
Yeah, it still came out of that.
Well, I'm just
there's no
wondering
money
if,
land use to take from, really.
Right.
I mean,
I'm just wondering if the money that we allotted to land use, that it's enough that it would include it or not.
I usually charge all legal.
No.
This round of January is not gonna cost us anywhere near what John's did. But I still expect there to be a cost. I mean, I would safely say half.
Well, we probably should talk about that in executive.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
We really talking litigation and stuff.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at 120 for now, and we'll- and then let's,
And Mike will be here to talk with us about it, but, once you get into litigation, I think we should just...
Yep, okay.
No, I think it's too low.
Well, I do too, but we can talk about it.
what's the fixed legal? Do we have like a fixed and a, like-
Because, you have no retainer,
It's
so
all
everything's billed.
hourly, right?
but we know he's gonna be here pretty much at, his office gonna be at every meeting, right? Other than the meetings.
Minor.
Emails, phone calls, you're being charged for all our hours.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that too, about who's allowed to call our professionals. You know, 'cause I know that he takes calls from citizens sometimes, or this has happened, right?
Yeah, it has happened, yeah.
Not too often, though, as far as citizens. He usually tells a citizen, I think he did only one, really, that I know of.
Yeah.
So we have-
And what about our other
And the
professionals?
settlement, you said, that's 40. And how much do you think we have in there from 18
Just for settlements?
settlements? Is it close to that same amount?
It's hard to think back. Yeah, probably 40, 50 maybe.
So we're gonna be back up to that 18 level.
I believe so.
What's that, why is that?
Because we had settlements, part of the payment in 18 is settlements, and we're saying there's another settlement this year that's close to the same.
So what are you going to do, put it back up to 137?
All the hours Piper's putting in for the contract or fees is going to be billed there.
All right,
I mean-
whatever it is.
I maybe go to 135, add 15. So far, we've only saved 7. So now we're down 8. So we gotta find 8 somewhere else.
Well, we're about to find some money in the next line.
Yes, I agree.
Is that what we pay the engineer?
No, that's what we budget.
Oh.
So, 130, okay.
Really? Only 16?
Paul, did we want to talk about any kind of policies for our
Because Lanus
professionals?
goes to Lanus, escrow goes to escrow,
Like-
sewer goes to sewer,
I'm
separate.
sorry, do we want to talk about any policy,
So
like
a
as
lot
far
of
as
that is meetings.
who's allowed to, because our professionals, they're just gonna, they're taking, like, for instance, land board members. If anybody on land board calls down, they get paid.
No,
Do we want to limit that to the chairman?
I think all calls should go to the chairman.
Right, and if anybody on land board has a question, they go to Ray.
Go to
and
Ray,
say-
and then,
Ray could go to, if Ray thinks it's got to go to him.
right, exactly.
So we needed to put that,
So, but on the engineering though, we gotta
I
consider.
mean, I don't know what the number
We
is,
have to
but I know that
consider-
our members are
We're
doing
doing
the
some
Well,
road
there are,
projects.
sure.
We had no road projects this year.
No, but that is charged to road project.
But as capital?
This
is
is
that
general
capitalized?
engineering fees for him to come to the meetings, write that report, and,
Do we
So-
have to have them at every meeting?
no.
No.
Okay, I
No.
thought we don't.
And I know that report that he writes every meeting is, that usually costs like $360 every meeting.
He can give it to us by email.
Well,
Well, he is,
Still
but
charged
he's
to
got a
write-
secretary
Right,
producing that, right?
Well, we don't need it, that's a lot of
How much is the report?
I think it's like $360
The work he does on a road-
on a monthly basis.
Goes where?
That's crazy.
But now all he's doing is highlighting, right, so.
Significantly reduced.
So somebody's doing it, but
But what
So the
about,
engineering fees get capitalized. It goes
the
to
engineering
capital
for the
budget.
affordable? Is that gonna come,
That money
is that part of the COA?
that's part of COA,
Well, once again, we're capped at 20%,
right?
so I don't know. We
Well,
may not
he's-
be able to reduce this.
He's at,
Oh, I see what you're saying. No.
I don't know what he's gonna have involvement with the affordable.
I would think he's gonna have no involvement with affordable.
Projects, road improvements. In
I'm not like, I don't
He
know.
already is, in a way, because
Yeah.
he's
He's already
trying to work out
communicating.
Santini's issue and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
he's already, being a
We're talking to
go-between.
him over the geothermal testing and stuff.
I have a feeling they're gonna be contacting him a lot once they start.
For what?
We're wondering how much involvement Mike is gonna have with affordable.
Okay.
I told him to bill that separately. so
But that's
I told him
COLA.
to COLA.
But COLA, we're capped at 20%, is what I'm hearing, so I don't know.
I don't know how, if
I don't
we're
know-
truly gonna, when I talked to
Well, wait a
Mr.
minute.
Manis about
Yeah,
it,
you know what, yeah, you're right, yeah, you know what? 20% unless it's directly related to the construction of affordable housing. So that, I think, is gonna be able to come out of affordable housing.
Well, that's an open question. Like,
No, no,
What's
'cause I-
directly mean?
You know, in the construction of, like, in other words, there's gonna be units as a result of that, not like what we have been doing with
Oh,
looking at site
well, that's a
planning.
big difference right
Yeah.
there.
And actually, and to be honest, I don't think I'm going back to, he won't, other than maybe some preliminary stuff right now, he'll have, because we're gonna turn that land over. We're selling it for $1. So it's no longer town property, it's no longer anything. You know, so I don't-
Yeah, but for instance, like, the town didn't own Greenwich Chase and Wyndham Farm, and Mike had a lot of engineering bills during that whole thing. You know, I just don't know. I just don't know that we can even lower it, because I don't know what his environment's gonna be. I hate to,
Well, I
if
guess
we
we
have
can ask
color,
you.
then we're all right.
I guess we can ask.
No,
him.
you know what? If Bob was saying is
I'm pretty
right,
sure he said, that was 20% if it wasn't directly related to...
even 20% is 250,000,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and I don't think we
I think
spend
the
anything near
20%
that.
was for like,
that's exactly it. When I talked about the Manis, that's what we said. But then a few meetings ago, John was here, Rooney, and he said somehow LoPac got into trouble with what they charge there, and they ended up having to bring it back and budget it in their normal
Well,
budget.
I think
We
it's,
need clarification on it.
I think if it's directly related to the construction of the units, it's not. I think 20% is like, when we just said we paid the clerk X amount of dollars to be the COA officer. That can't be more than 20%.
But let's say, but the 20% alone would be enough, even without that.
Yeah.
Because you're talking 20% of $1 million.
Right.
So it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
Where does,
But we just gotta make sure of what we could charge the COA. But I think we could probably, we probably don't have to worry about Mike. as
what do
far
you
as-
budget his fees for planning board?
Planning board.
So it's under planning board O&E? So his engineering fees are in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So this O&E engineering is strictly for municipal,
Yeah,
and it does not include sewer,
correct.
it does not include escrow,
But it doesn't
because they all get
include
charged
planning.
separately. So this is just straight work.
Are we jumping around again? Where are we?
We're
We're
still on
talking
engineering
Mike. He
O&E.
gets,
Open space, charge open space.
he gets charged. This,
I'd say keep
planning
it flat.
board, open space,
Why are we keeping it flat?
roads.
No, not at 32, at what we spent.
What we spend, right.
18.
Or
18, sure.
or something, but-
So put it to 17.
Yeah.
Just round it up. Take 15 out of there.
Agreed.
Because all the other stuff is
I
already
think what
accounted
happened in
for.
years past, from when I look back, it wasn't being charged off to the accounts and trust funds that it should have been, so that probably blew that number up. And now you're seeing when things are going to the right places, that's getting...
Where the, yeah, and that kind of makes sense.
And didn't we say historic, we were gonna bring up to 2,000?
Yes, we did.
So we
That's
gotta
a plus
change that
500.
to 2,000,
We have to add
or they'll
500.
kill me.
Oh, by the way, tell Greg it's okay, he could put the plaque on the concession stand.
Oh, thank you. He'll love you.
All right, so we add 500 to historic O&E to bring it up to 2,000. The, planning board S&W, now, I know this went up mid-year because Zuzana...
Right,
didn't that
there was
put-
some over, it's Susanna's salary and Larry's.
Oh, Larry's is tied into the planning board?
Yep.
So, is that enough?
Why is it lower?
Yeah, why would it be lower?
Susanna's 6,000 and Larry's 5 something.
But we expended 12.
Because there was, when did Susanna start? There was some overlap at some point.
That might get a bump anyway if the stipends go up, right?
Right.
And then the O&E at 25. So this is, so none of drill is in here?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, for his normal land use work, yes.
So this is drill, this is Mike, what else is in here?
Legal, advertising.
Beth too, right?
What does she do?
Planner.
In planner and the land use board, right, she's in there.
And then what about that CBH, well,
CGP&H.
Yeah,
Comes
the
out of open space.
oh, that's for open space?
Or are they the
No, they're not open
No,
space.
that's color.
Green,
They're color.
greener by design.
Oh, no. Who is CPG? What is CPG make?
I don't know what they're doing for a $750 retainer every month. That was my question. It's something with COA. I
Just-
believe that they are in charge of actually providing information about the individual homes and their availability and then placement for them. However complicated that is. But what activity could there be?
Yeah, how much can it
It's
be?
just a retainer.
$700
There's gonna
a
be
month.
nothing this year.
Time out.
I can't see how
What is
that's
it? This is a legal term?
No, this
What is
is, you have to have this, right? It's
Oh, this is that
required.
thing that we passed for, John, was it?
Now, I know, like in Alamucci, they have the same people, but they're billed hourly.
And do they pay less because they do
They
hourly?
have like a ton of COA units that they're in charge of, but you don't have that here.
We have 70
So that's why I
units.
don't and they'll have to educate me. Maybe there's a lot of that they're doing, but I don't know.
Are they the only
$700
company
a
that
month,
does
you
this?
said.
I mean, it was a 25% increase. I don't understand what
Mhm.
work is going up that they need 25% more fee.
First I would ask them, like, what's the activity monthly?
Yeah, what are they doing?
Yeah. It's gonna report.
But that's under code, so that's not in this line item. But yes, we need to ask them.
We get a report from them, from what, all their activities last year.
So what else goes into the O&M planning board other than Joe, Mike advertising that? All right, so now I gotta ask the question. Master plan,
I don't think we have to do it this year.
so it's not a 19 item,
It is if we want it to be, put it that way.
because that's pretty expensive.
Well, I can't see it starting that this year.
I don't think so. We were just gonna have preliminary discussions on this whole thing. I don't think we were gonna get deep into the whole master plan review. So,
When is that?
we need to ask Ray, I'll ask
We
Ray.
don't budget for you.
Wasn't
can't
it
get
like, when do you have to do it? Isn't there like a section?
Yeah, there's a statutory, there's
I
a
think
date,
we have
but
like 2
I
years left on that.
think we have like 2 years on it.
Okay, we should get a confirmation.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a
Because
confirmation.
even if we have to start it, like maybe it's 20, but maybe you start a little bit of it this year, so you've done a little bit this year, a little bit next year.
Yeah, it could have been 2 years last year, but I thought it was 2 years yet.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 years last year. All right, so we have that open question on that.
I'll just shoot you on a text.
This is why give you a township administrator, he'd be sitting there giving us all these.
He would. That's
So
what
fire
I mean, we
inspector,
know all that,
Yep.
nothing there.
information.
It's nothing the clerk wouldn't
Yeah.
let me know anyway. It's just Lisa hasn't been here long enough to be familiar.
Right.
So environmental commission, all right, wait, I'm sorry, fire inspectors, is there anything there we need to talk about?
That looks, yeah.
Environmental commission, O&E.
Do you even have an active, I mean, I guess you have one.
Yeah, Bob Etcherson, he's bought, gift cards for the essays and stuff like that. Obviously, he didn't spend much money.
Yeah.
Well, I think he took it out of Clean Communities,
Yeah.
but, yeah, you can leave that in there.
Co-officer, SMW, so why,
That's what goes towards the clerk, right? That's the WCO officer.
oh, I see, that's why we didn't have much. But we have to put that in this year.
Yeah.
Fire. You don't have an increase in here for fire hydrant service, do you?
We talked about that before you got
Yeah.
here.
What was it, an additional 23,000, did we say?
I think Joe said there was an additional, 17 hydrants? It was like 17 or 18 hydrants, and I think today we have 148. And is this payment here, the 2018 expended, is this full 4 quarters, right? It should be, because I know you had it deferred the 1 year, but we shouldn't have that anymore. It should be full 4 quarters of cost.
Yes. It is.
So if I do 90,000, oops, 88,000 divided by 600, yeah, so let's just call 700 times 17.
John says.
12 grand per year, more.
Where are we at now?
I thought it was, I
Down
thought
to
it
Five?
said 23,000. Or was it 23 hydrants?
I thought it was 18 hydrants. Let me see if I wrote it down. We're gonna need a half a year anyway,
That's true, yeah.
so we should probably add 10 just to be safe, right?
Yeah,
10 to the 96?
yeah.
Well, wait, no, we have 90 we expended. So 10, I mean, are they,
Yeah, but I'm back to the 4 full quarters now.
oh, so the
Yeah, I think I was
90,500,
back to that last year. I think I charged off something too.
all right, so 96 is the first, so 106 we're gonna go?
Yep.
Scary. Everything's going up.
Yeah, right. She's going down.
Uh,
Police, we're gonna do.
Well, and the fire protection, that's the stipend that we give them, right?
So that, John
Sorry.
lumps it into one, but it's $75,000 of your contribution, and the rest of that is the, insurance we're paying for them.
And insurance, okay.
Police, you should have a miscellaneous other expense number from after we talked to tonight. Do you have that?
That's why I'd have to take his numbers
Oh,
and plug them.
okay. And police car, did we raise it to 17,000 already?
Yes.
All right, so police cars plus 2,000,
Yeah.
miscellaneous other,
That's what she's gonna have to get the number for.
and then the S&W,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
subject,
have to plug his numbers,
subject
but I
to
want to double check
negotiations.
it.
Yeah.
well, what did you, so forget about the salary increase, what do you have in here for the overtime? Do you have it
I
separate
kept everything,
from the 18 adopted?
that's right.
So they came in under last year
Right, so
by,
his budget this year was less than that number, so I want to double check everything, and then we can plug that number in, so that should help.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, you expended 1252 because they came in under on their overtime, and if you're budgeting last year's overtime, you got rid of there. That might cover
Mhm.
the salary increase you got to budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this one might be able to come down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
trying to find out.
But then what's in the miscellaneous other?
So we don't need to do anything with master plan this year.
Okay.
Ray put
Yeah.
into it, because I actually brought it up that we need to look at it, but I'm trying to get the date down from John.
So the miscellaneous other expenses, the 58,000, did the IT costs that we did, they're not in here. What did they hit then? They hit,
General admin.
okay, so all the server upgrades, all that stuff was in the general admin. Even for the police?
Yes.
Didn't we have like, I'm trying to remember from last year, didn't we spend like, if it was like a one-time kind of item to $5,000 on some kind of,
License plate reader?
I don't know, something like
I think a
that.
license plate reader was around 5,000.
Those capital.
I don't remember. All right, so then these two are open nuts. These are big nuts too.
Where you at now?
Well, I was just looking at the S&W for police and the miscellaneous other.
No.
Those are, they don't know the answers, so there's.
Of course, there's nothing we could do there.
There's nothing there.
Road repairs and maintenance, we talked about that, right?
Yeah, and that's open, so we gotta, well, that one, it's gotta, we have to talk to him, because that, the number he gave us was 260, but it had a new person in there.
I put that too, and I asked him about it.
He never said anything about it.
Austin, who already works for us. I guess you rehire him?
We rehired him, but he's only a part-timer.
Yeah, he's a
That's why I got
part-time.
confused.
Right.
I said, oh, is he full? He was like, no.
No,
I'm like,
he didn't ask for a
okay.
full-time guy.
It's on the list.
That's what I thought. I'll go over that with Joe. I'm sure I'll see him.
So the near, at 41.6. His proposal is 261 for just S&W. And he's going,
Yeah.
he's got,
Oh, you know what, I think, yeah, he was thinking to eliminate these two, that's what he was talking about.
yeah, well, this is 40,
Yeah.
this is 42, and he spent 40.
He said that's an option, he was looking at it as an option too. Should ask him this year, but he did talk at the first night, he said, you know, you might want to consider doing that.
FYI 2022
22?
is master plan.
Okay.
All right, so,
Oh, you know, considerably more than 152, I think, all right.
the spend,
Uh,
Now, what was his budget request?
oh, we didn't even look at that.
operating expense, 194. But he does have, well, he was really shooting for an extra 30,000 for doing some paving. Let's see, where's that in here?
So park maintenance going up.
Materials, street signs.
Yeah, no, that paving is under, I think that was under capital, that wasn't in here.
Oh, look, here we go.
Oh, no, asphalt paving, yeah, he's got it under he wants to do $30,000 worth of paving, in the Stewartsville Heights area, that he didn't have in 2018. So that's 33 of that.
Are these these aren't the hours, this is the, all right, so this is maintenance repair, so you can't capitalize it. What does he have this gasoline budget?
That's under gasoline,
Oh, it's not under his operating expense?
right, so.
Oh, fuel, no, wait, where is that? Oh, he doesn't include that in here.
No.
Oh, and then the Rickline Hill, road, the drains and the pipe, that's 10,000. So that's 43,000 in projects that he wants to do.
You could put under capital if you wanted to.
So you got 152 in here, so if you put the 10 into capital, in his proposal, he's got, what's the rock salt going up?
That's just the number that he
He said we
used.
could reduce that by
We
10.
can reduce it down, right?
He said he could reduce that by
So
10.
that's 10, and then take the other 10 out for the drainage, if that could go to capital, then you get down to 174.
By moving it to capital, that doesn't really do anything for the tax rate, right?
No.
You're just giving yourself more room under the cap. So I don't,
Hey, yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where
I mean, it's like,
I
almost don't like that, because it's allowing us to spend more.
I think we should go, yeah, go figure out what we got and then try to back out when we get to the numbers.
Well, I was just thinking, you probably need to, what's this 18 number? His 18 number, that's pretty close to what you got. I think he's gonna do that asphalt job, we're gonna have to, it's gonna have to go north of what he's at. So we have them at 52. What if for now we pencil in plus 10,
Under what?
where,
road repairs and maintenance, O&E?
Okay.
why are we going plus 10?
He wants to go to 194.
So how come that's not in here then?
Because I kept
We should have
everything
kept it
flat.
flat.
Oh,
We'll have to see how much more we can go until we see what the
Yeah,
main thing is the police.
we'll have to, that number will have to be revisited.
All right. First aid contribution, that's, I'm assuming, the
That's-
insurance
Insurance,
and the regular,
right.
911 dispatch, that's the key. Office of Emergency Management,
no change.
no change. Public buildings and grounds, 55.
So why can't we bring that down?
Sure, you should be able to take 10,000 out of that
I would
easy.
think so.
Well, what is he, what's in this one?
Building maintenance, copier leases, water,
Septic,
postage meter,
septic. 1 year, that's gonna say 255,000. Soon.
Maybe we can get the carpet in here?
Yeah, we talked about that because it is bad and we're worried about people. And we also talked about getting rid of these bench type and go to chairs because we think we'll get more people in here with the chairs.
Well, I thought we couldn't have chairs. They
Well, that was for the
Be
court.
Bolted
That was for the
down.
court.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, that's right.
Do they have to, you don't have to bolt them down for regular municipal?
No, I don't care about us.
They don't give us? Okay.
I don't care about the
We're
judge.
expendable.
I worry about the
The
judge and the
judge.
prosecutor. They don't care.
but are you still entertaining moving over to that other building?
Well,
Why don't you do
it's
anything?
certainly entertaining. I mean, it's,
I'm just saying.
Yes, what you just said is entertaining.
which I spoke to Joe and John Howe and stuff like that, and we're gonna hook up with Craig in the very near future just to do a walkthrough.
I don't know if you want to cut that much more. I mean, you're really cutting everything pretty slim now, so,
That's what I'm saying, I don't know. if
What do you
I
mean, we've
wanna
been
cut
adding?
the 55.
What have we been cutting?
well.
I mean, maybe
We've been
cut-
adding everywhere.
No, the
cut it.
first page,
What did we cut?
Well, we'll go back and recap.
you.
I think, on this one, I mean,
We did.
We need-
cut
we
it.
got
We
some
didn't
District
cut it.
54, District 3,000,
2250.
2250.
We need to keep that rate.
Wait, okay.
I'm going back to that one.
Okay, here. We went up on legal, right?
I can read them off. General government, O&E, minus 6,000.
General
Civil
government,
clerk, O&E, minus 750. Assessment of taxes, O&E, plus 750. Collection of taxes, minus 1,000 on O&E,
Wait a minute, assessment of taxes, why?
plus 750 on O&E.
Oh, on the O&E?
why did we
It's
go?
not enough. We just took it from,
But Jennifer did get a reduced rate on her software when she started. She thought we were paying too much. I forget what it was, but that's what I said.
so you want to leave it at 8?
I think it's comfortable.
All right, so we'll take that out. Take it out.
Collection of
Collection
taxes
of
down a
taxes, O&E,
thousand.
we said minus 1.
Oh.
Then legal, we said plus 15.
Well, there goes everything we just minused.
And then, but then engineering, we said minus 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
We
wash.
put him
And that's a
down.
wash.
Historic site, O&E plus 500. Fire hydrant service plus 10,000. Police car plus 2,000. Road repairs and maintenance plus 10,000.
So your net probably what? Probably
So
even,
10, 12,
close to even.
22, 21. We're about 14 higher.
We're not cutting.
All right, so we can cut a little bit from the buildings and grounds. Right? How much you think we could shave off that one? We took 7 out. That would put us at 48.
Joe had a budget, I don't know, do you care about it, or was it?
Where was
I didn't see
I
it.
don't see
didn't
buildings
see
and
a budget
grounds
for
in it.
buildings and
Let me
grounds.
see.
You had one.
Let's see.
I mean, I
Got
guess
all
we
the
should,
stuff right
you know, we might have to inquire with him on it. But I don't know that I've seen one for buildings and grounds.
Not there.
Here we go.
Where is that
Where's it?
It's on the buildings and grounds maintenance repairs
Oh,
improvements. Second page, buildings and grounds,
Got it.
general maintenance. 4,075.
No,
That can't be all, that's something.
Well, does he take money out of there to pay for a part-time guy to mow the lawn out back there and everything? No?
It's really just having repairs. I guess that's not here. I know he said he wanted to do something in the ladies' room, he said that one, basic plans.
Yeah, there was one completely missing.
Yeah, $750 for that. I don't know, for now, I don't, you wanna just take out 7 for now until we figure out some of the big items later? Maintenance of parks,
why 7?
just to keep some room in there if we wanna do the carpet. Yeah, we
You
gotta do
want
the carpeting.
15 over of what was expended.
Yeah, so take half of it.
I wrote 10, but okay.
I mean, we have 2 big items that we don't know where they're gonna come out at yet. And that's gonna drive everything else. Park maintenance,
It's the same. Want to go half?
We don't
I don't
know.
even know.
So we don't know until the bids, right? All right, forget it.
holidays, celebration.
Hey, whatever happened with the Christmas party last year that they were gonna have?
Yeah, we were
for
gonna do that
employees?
this
We
year,
were
right?
gonna
We were gonna
discuss
do
something,
something-
to do something for it.
Like this time of the year, you mean?
Yeah, no, we did
Yeah.
talk about doing that. Yeah, should still do something. I'm fine for it, so.
Leave that the same stuff for you if we plan on doing it.
Yeah,
But that includes the community day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So just so everybody's aware.
that's what we took the money that we would have back.
Right, yeah.
Animal control.
You know, I already have $1,000 bill that's hanging out there now, and you have almost no money in the trust fund, so I don't know where we're going with bills.
For what? What are you talking about?
Animal control.
Animal control.
The veterans. What, I forwarded you those notes from Amanda,
Any chance to look?
so they said that basically they shouldn't have billed us for the nail clipping stuff, but the neutering is a must. I mean, maybe we should add to that, though, I don't know, I mean, I thought, but are we putting the money from the licenses in there,
Maybe,
into the trust?
what do you mean, if it's
How much
stray?
have we, do you know how much we got in yet? Yeah.
Yeah, private meter.
Not much more than last
I was gonna say, we don't pay for private owners.
I thought the number was up a little bit, though.
Wasn't it?
I could see David there, he said you're gonna take a deer, so you can save it.
Yeah.
Which at some point in the near future, we've got to figure out about doing the dog census so that we can collect the right number.
How much does the dog census cost?
Wednesday, we paid a person like $300 to it, she just walked to town.
Well,
Bigger.
that's Bloomsbury.
I mean, I wouldn't even,
Yeah. And a lot of people here don't even leave them out, either people out, throw it back in the house.
it's literally a situation where you go.
You ring the doorbell, you hear a dog barking.
Well,
run a dog.
no. Do we actually have a list of dog owners?
Sure, you can show.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay. We should give it some serious thought.
But typically what you would do is you would start with mailing a letter to everybody and...
What happened to cat owners, Paul? Did you bring that up?
What?
Cat owners?
Well, yeah, no, I didn't, but I guess this is...
Somebody brought it up last meeting.
No, I think it was me, yeah. I mean, but we should seriously consider, cat-related issues in licensing, maybe.
They do in my town, in the township I work, they do.
No, it's in a lot of townships, it is.
And they get fined if they don't, register them. and-
Well, that's, that's,
Comes down.
right.
That's how they process
Right.
all the licenses.
Right.
Amanda, she just wants to do dogs, I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, she's dealing with cats and things of that nature too, right?
How many cat owners you know there is?
But she's doing strictly domestic animals,
I think it
no?
would be hard for her to go out and issue tickets.
No, she's not doing that. Yeah, right.
We gotta get the people to pay their dog license fees first.
Right, exactly. No, I hear
It's
you.
like 200 that pay, and there's like $1,000 in this town.
No, you're right. No, absolutely.
They're equal rights for dogs, okay?
Dog owners.
Dogs
Equal rights.
Dogs are people.
Go walk
That's
that
right.
park and look at all the dog crap that's around.
I want to make it into an
Because
exercise.
people are walking their dog in the park,
I want to put a
and they're not
equestrian
picking
trail
up,
in.
even though we give them the bags.
Yeah.
They're not picking
You know
up.
what gets me about people walking dogs? In my neighborhood, there's a lot of people who walk dogs. Anybody has a dog, if you feed a dog, around 20, 25 minutes later, you gotta take it out, right? So literally, when you leave your house and you say, I'm taking a dog for a walk, you're basically saying, I'm taking the dog to the neighbor's yard to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So these people don't let it go in their own, they'll walk in its own yard first, then take it for the walk for exercise. They're taking it out to go to the bathroom, and they're throwing it in other people's yards.
But it's supposed to be picking it up.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
It's a common complaint up in Greenwich Trace on a walking path.
Your dog, when you feed your dog at 6:25, 6:30, and you're letting the dog out, you let him out in your own yard to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, then pick it up.
Then you take him for the walk for his exercise. That's not what people are doing. People are saying, at 6:20, it's time for a dog to go out and take him for a walk. So basically, you're saying, your neighbor's saying, I'm taking my dog to Frank's yard to go to the bathroom. Now,
Don't worry, when my neighbor, I have,
now they have to clean it up. They're supposed to clean it, let's put it that way. But even if they clean it up, and let's say you spent $5,000 or $3,000 for your dog, and your dog runs in your own yard, that dog is sick. It's going to make your dog sick now, because when you clean it up, you're not getting everything,
You're right.
So that's what perturbs me with the dog, with walking
Yeah,
the
people are
dog,
lazy.
is they don't take the dog for a walk around. I mean, urinating, you can't control. We're going to mark through things, but
Yeah, that goes right into the ground.
But it really, it just gets me, because I watch it all the time. You can tell, they're, the people in my neighborhood, the dogs go to the bathroom in the same yard all the time, so, they're just taking them out.
I get frustrated, I mean, the last 3 times I've gone up to the park to take the walk, I mean, there's crap everywhere in the grass.
Yeah.
Fine, that'll eventually, biodegrade, but when people leave it on the walking path,
Well, my point there is even,
I'm like, really?
if you're gonna take the dog to the walk for
so it's not coyote?
park for exercise,
No.
you should try to let it,
We do have coyote.
you should try to let it go to the bathroom at home.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, the
But I'm
dog goes,
saying,
it goes.
up there we have the bags, and
Yeah.
people, and then if it goes, fine, pick it up, but if it goes on the walkway
Yeah.
and you don't pick it up,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just shameful.
Well, they got the cameras now, let them,
Yeah, it doesn't take all, yeah, not the whole walking path. But it's just amazing how lazy
Well,
people are. But anyway.
if somebody watches this, I'll be
Well, yeah, because I've held back what I really think about what we should be doing with
Just
the
for the
cats.
record, I love dogs.
I like dogs.
Where's the camera? I have dogs.
But my point is there's
Pick up the crap, if you're not picking up on the walking path, shame on you, you should be shamed.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Well, 10 o'clock, we're cutting this, let's get through what you're
Yeah,
doing.
So,
Then it's all gonna change anyway.
Yeah.
It's all gonna change anyway.
Yeah.
But,
should we just skip down to utilities?
well, no, what happened to park maintenance?
We're waiting for the bids.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
And we went to holiday expense, animal control we just talked about, other though, I mean, you're saying we've got a pretty big vet bill, so is 2 gonna even be enough?
It encompassed a few months, but I'd be leery to cut that.
Now I would cut it.
okay.
Senior citizen contribution, it's the same. So now we get the utilities. So the only thing here is that, now with the, well, no wait, the new electricity bill we get for, Thomas Stewart Park's gonna get charged to the OA. Right, so we don't have to budget that in this line. Because I noticed
I don't
that the
think
bill
there's
on
any
that
way
was
to do
like
that.
a little bit more than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, which I was surprised.
Well, those lights are on up there.
Yeah, but those are LEDs.
Yeah, but, no, I'm saying,
The
but,
refrigerator and that heating thing.
sure.
That a little portable fan.
I thought they were talking about trying to put motion
That's
sensors
it.
on the lights to try to bring that down so it's not on 24/7.
You know,
So street lighting,
Well, I mean, you can save a couple of dollars there, not
we
much.
just put it at the 19 budget? Take 3 off of that, you think, or what?
Street lighting?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, was there anything in that 18 that didn't get expended because it was in 17? So,
You know, that street lighting is another thing we should do an audit on, because I don't, we get charged by the light, I guess, right?
I always said that in
Yeah,
one too.
there's one on Maple Drive up from me that's been out since before Hurricane Sandy. I've called and reported it, I don't know how many times, they've never come to address it.
Yeah, why are we paying for it then?
Oh, that's my point, and I've got to believe that's not the only one that's been like, but I'm talking, I know it was out before Hurricane Sandy, and then after Hurricane Sandy, I reported it again.
You should call Stan Fredo.
Yeah, and I talk to them all the time, I forget about it then, but it can't be the only one, my point is.
do we pay for the lights that are on county roads?
We don't have any.
Well, Green Street.
We have
Mine
that,
doesn't.
I
we have
Oh.
believe you
a lot of counties.
Yeah, I think we do.
Street
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you're
lights.
paying
Oh,
for
you
the light,
street
Yeah.
they're not checking electric on the light, you just pay per light?
Yeah, I think yes,
Yeah, you
it's
pay-
a flat
There's no
fee.
meter.
You put,
No,
huh?
there's no meter, it's just a
Yeah,
flat
it's-
fee, it's
You
like,
pay
it's
based
like
on
the
the
fire
type-
hydrants.
type of light that it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, but how come,
Pictures are
all right, then how come on Dumont,
they're ours,
all right, so that's what you're saying, ours we're paying by the usage.
yeah, that's,
Okay,
that's
that's what I wanna
metered
clarify.
or something, 'cause that's why we have every
Yeah.
other one lit.
Are we still going every other one on Dumont?
Yeah,
We still are?
yeah,
And those are LEDs now too, right?
You might want to rotate it now to the others,
yeah.
to say, I would think we may want to, how many years have we been on
So-
these lights?
Well,
think we
now
can
do
shave
it
$3,000 on this one?
Yeah.
Should probably rotate them.
Actually, I don't think you
Electricity.
have lit.
How is this?
Oh, don't
Yeah,
forget,
we had to
Another
apply the
13
box.
grand?
Well, I mean, we did go to some energy-saving stuff here in the building.
I thought the building charge was like $3,000 a month.
So, why is electricity at 20?
That 13,000 doesn't look right. You think that's right?
For 2018 expenditure?
Yeah, because what's the building? I mean, I could have sworn I saw in one of the bills, the municipal building alone was like $3,000 for,
In the winter for heat. I don't think there's a whole lot in the spring and summer.
Didn't the replacing the bulbs and everything?
No, they did, yep, it reduced it some.
so if we're only spending $13,000 on electricity, where's the pump station that goes to
Sewer.
Sewer, right?
So why are we doing that one like we've been doing all along? Why don't we take half of the 7 difference?
I just want to make sure we're not undercutting it, because I could have sworn the building was so much more.
I'll look at it.
So we'll leave it alone for now.
All right, so,
Just put an asterisk by it.
yeah.
Telephone should be down, you've been straightening some of that stuff out, Lisa, haven't you, the phone lines?
Yeah, it should be, what did we figure out, like 3,500 less next year? And more than that for the Verizon cell phones, I mentioned I reviewed those, but,
So we
Does that
take
go into this
500 off?
line?
yes,
Cell phones go in here?
yes.
Okay.
I think we got that down 300.
So how much you think we can shave off this one? At least $5,000?
Well, can we go down to what we actually spent, because it's gonna be all, that money you're saving off of what we spent, right?
I would say, yeah.
So let's go down to the 17.5. Sound good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at $3,500. So we take 3,000 out of lighting, street lighting, 3,500 out of that telephone, we're 6,500. Chip it away. Chip it
We'll
away.
probably get something out of electricity, I would think.
Probably.
Yeah, we should check
And then gas, all right, so this is where you're saying gasoline and diesel fuel. So I
You-
thought we blew our budget.
We did.
What was the original budget? This is the modified, so you moved some money in there, right? I want to say we were like 7 or 8 grand over at least.
40,000 in the budget, I think. And I've charged now in the
By the
middle,
department?
you're going to see a transfer resolution this month, the bills that came in at the end of the year, or, in January, February, March, that I charged back to, so it's even more than that.
If it wasn't 18 or less for winter,
It wasn't so much that as
These,
it was the cost of gas went up in 18 compared to
and
17.
there are more officers patrolling now, and
Yeah. I don't think I'd cut the 50.
No, well, gas is supposed to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking $3 a gallon by summer.
Yeah, so this is like a 10%.
Yeah. Huh?
Because of Venezuela?
No,
No?
it's not being attributed to that at this point. I mean, the Donald may holler again and make it come back down, but
Plus, I'm sure Governor Murphy probably is going to want to raise the gas tax again.
We don't pay the tax.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Really? Oh, no. I should buy my gas here.
yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
I think that's it.
Insurance. So,
I have to look just to make sure I added recreation in there.
into the general liability.
Yeah.
Where's the, where's that LTD contract fall under? General?
Employee group health.
Oh, right there, 236,000.
I have to double check that number too, now that we changed.
Yeah. Well, that was, I think this year, without any other further changes, there's only going to be like maybe 2,500 reduction. But do you have the, guidance from the state on the state health plan increase this year? Usually they give you a rate with factoring, don't they? Do you have that?
Yeah, I mean, I generally know what we're paying each month, but maybe, like, it'll change again, they're going to increase the salaries, they're going to have to most likely pay more into their health benefits. So, in theory, it's supposed to be offsetting. That's why you're not seeing as big an increases in that line, but I do want to double check that number.
Because even if you
Yeah,
did,
you brought up the plaque in
even
the
if you did a
last
5%
open space.
increase,
Oh,
which
good.
is
That'll make
I
it
said, we
better.
gotta help
small,
Lillian out
it's a
here.
plan, right?
She's getting attacked.
Higher than that.
Oh, he was happy when I
But
told
to
him about bringing
231
it up to 2,000, and then
5%, I
he
mean,
would
you
still
get
have his
242.
40,020.
Before we go, we want to do this, we want to do this petition for the removable netting at the,
Well,
we
yeah,
have to
we've done that.
approve that or what?
I'm sorry.
We have to, so you're going to read this.
Nothing from your end to do it.
about it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on here that we need to go through?
No, so everything else is statutory.
That's right. All right.
Do we need to approve this?
We need to approve it because,
Okay, you want to make a motion then?
yeah, make a motion to authorize the Recreation and Booster to install a safety netting system at Thomas Stewart Park. It's going to be about 90 feet in length, it's about 15 feet high, and the way the netting is, we need to put some cement footings into the ground, which will have a sleeve in it, like a pipe sleeve, and then the netting is attached to pipes that go slide in there, so when they're done with the season, the netting will come out.
Yeah.
And then during the season, if Joe has to cut, the net can be raised from the ground up, so that it won't lay on the grass, and it can cut around it.
A second.
Any other comments, questions,
And there's-
discussion?
And
No
what's this
contribution.
netting for?
It's for lacrosse.
Protection
Oh,
between the two fields.
Fields, got it.
When they're
Okay.
playing,
No cost to the township, just the approval is.
Yeah, just
Recreation
approve.
and Booster are covering it, yep.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Roll call?
Mayor Weston?
Yes.
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 Brad, wasn't there one other thing that, we voted on two things at that meeting?
For the-
The plaque, maybe.
But,
Yeah.
do we have to authorize that?
No, we're authorizing this, it's something that's going in the park,
So,
right?
making a motion to authorize, I guess, the historical
Commission to put a plaque on the
committee
concession stand.
or commission, whichever it is, to install a plaque, a Thomas Stewart plaque on the concession stand at Thomas Stewart Park.
Everyone second?
Location to be
Location
determined
TBD.
by the OS committee at a
Yeah.
future date.
I second.
Okay, well, wait a second, any other questions, comments, discussion, roll call? Yes.
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 Anybody else want to do anything, or motion to adjourn?
What about the pavilion?
We're
That's way out there in
we're
limbo.
going out to bid
I
again,
think
right?
that we have to authorize it.
Do we have to authorize that? Yeah.
Well, not tonight, we can do it at the regular meeting.
What's the difference?
Rebid it with the same exact specs?
Oh, wait, is that, wait, did he ask us to do that tonight?
Why don't you hold off, you can talk to him. We'll do it the next
Do
one.
we
We're
need to
only
go
a week
into
different.
executive for anything for the budget now?
No, but I think we're going to have to next time when Mike's here over a couple of things.
Okay.
I didn't know if we had to add money somewhere to get this pavilion done.
And then, Lisa,
Well,
you want to check with Mike, see if
I guess you
he
should-
wants us to wait for us next week, because it's
Audit
too late, right?
open
It's on
space
10
this year.
Didn't we, Brad, didn't
See how
we
much
say
money's
there
on it.
I don't think
there
we
was
need
some
it
money
right now. We're
for
talking-
for OS?
The salary.
What was the money?
Ordinance.
We got the money from the sale,
Well,
right?
yeah, I don't know, that auctioned out, right, so that should
We
be.
got the, yes, we got the money from the sale
Yeah, so,
of the farm, which are gonna go into the
I
fund.
only want to go into executive
We
even,
were supposed to be on the.
I don't know if you want to put out there what we're talking about
so yeah,
raises,
that's 100.
until you know what we're talking about raises.
I don't know, I think that might have to be an exec session thing. because
And
of,
we do have the legal question about, the
But this
statutory
way,
office.
it's earmarked, so,
We had it not earmarked, and the new estimate is significantly less than earmarked.
well, because of the offset, right, from the sale.
Well, because there's also a piece that was originally earmarked that may not be... part of
Yeah,
it.
well, we got money from the sale, so that would offset right there.
Yeah, so there's definitely, based on our discussion with Frank Pinto, who's our, consultant for Unified Design, there was definitely some positive to the OS based on what we originally earmarked. So then the question is, do you want to use that for
Yeah, we could put it towards the pavilion.
pavilion? But we can't do that because without authorizing to go above what the original capital project was authorized to go, hit. We still have money left, we haven't spent all the money yet because of the pavilion and some other things, but, we'd have
An
to pick
option.
that up. It's an option, but I don't know if anyone has a stomach that want to spend more than what we originally budgeted for the pavilion. I don't.
Can we get a definite answer at either at or for the next meeting on these, open space lease contracts, so we can deposit the money or get?
That's
I
okay.
think that's it.
I don't know.
Correct.
Yeah,
Then we
it's,
decide to leave it pretty
They'll
much the
leave
way
it.
it is for this year, and then worry about it for next year.
Right,
right.
All the land, yeah.
We're going out for bid later on this year, we deposited in...
yep.
In open space.
Oh, not in open space in general, right, Lisa?
I deferred to Jamie, I told her to call you because I wasn't sure which account it would be to, so I was running out of our monthly.
Does it depend which
Because
piece of property?
Open space is up at TD Bank, so she would not have known.
Does it depend on what piece of property we're collecting on?
No.
So what would we go,
Put
OS?
them on your desk. That could be-
Where has it been going?
Open space.
Oh, it has been going into open
They put them on
space.
your desk then. Cash.
That's good.
I just said, I don't want to send letters requesting the difference until we correct the amounts. And we don't have corrected leases, so, okay.
We just gotta get some more open space. It's hard to get these farmers to
You know-
do it.
I agree with you, but part of our budget problems is we're a victim of our own success with that. We got so much open space, we're not getting tax dollars for it.
No, see, I disagree with you there.
We're a victim of our own
No.
success with that.
There's a lot of studies on that. They say your best rateable is open space, but I don't get into that now.
Well, where's the rateable?
The rateable is the less expenses that you have to do to maintain the property and the offset, and it's usually a net loss in
And
the
the
charge.
farm is paying the correct amount.
You know what? That's the whole argument about rateable chases. Depends what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah,
you know?
well,
So
I'll tell you.
a lot of people think rateable chases are losing that proposition, but
I don't see, I don't see how much more you can cut from our budget, I really don't. And every year, that's only gonna get worse. What's the answer then? I'm buying more open space, I'm all for it, but that's not gonna help you with the budget.
Yeah, well,
And you really,
If
we
you
don't
look at
have,
the
we don't
net-
have, we don't have a spending problem, we have a revenue problem.
if you look at the net, you gotta look at the net. You can't just look at the taxes coming in, or what's going out to maintain that piece of property, you know? There's a lot of, I don't know.
Well, in the long run, you're right, because the short-term answer, if you had a housing development, where in 20 years you'd be redoing the roads like we're talking now of all those housing developments.
I'll just give a quick, here's my opinion on the whole open space versus ratables thing. If you look at every single town that is industrialized, their tax rates are way higher than ours, most of them. Just go look. It's the towns with open space that have the lower tax rates. Just look at every town in Bergen County that's industrialized. All of the because what's going to happen is, you're just going to find something else to spend it on. You're not going to reduce it. Nobody's going to reduce the taxes.
Do you really believe, though, that all this open space will live on in infamy and it'll always be open space?
Unless there's a government,
It's like you're saying,
unless the government,
grab.
no, they can't grab
reverse
it.
the...
You can't
anything
reverse
that's
it.
Green acres or farmland.
You can't reverse Green Acres, you can reverse farmland.
At a
Well,
cost.
at a cost, no, it's at a cost, and sooner or later, the state might, you know,
That's right, I just don't see
It's at a
the
cost.
state following
They would have to pay
through
us,
with all
right?
this.
right,
What do you mean?
well, they pay the state.
All this open space.
All this open space, we're the most densely populated state in the country. There's no open space in this state. That's the problem.
All this, the farmland preservation and the development rights, I just don't see it living on in infamy.
Well, if not, then we're hopeless in this state, because we don't have...
It just has to live on long enough for us to be... And I mean, like, you know...
No, that's what I'm
die.
saying,
That's
though.
like, read the committee,
You just look at every industrialized town, Bergen County, they all pay more than we do.
to be clear.
Well, then,
Wolcott pays more than we do.
no,
They got more industry than we got.
All I'm
Just look at
saying-
Strikers
all
Road.
I'm saying is, let's say we had the money and tomorrow we could buy all the land that's left. You're talking about the same number of taxpayers.
Then you need to explain why all these towns that are industrialized
No,
have
I'm
higher...
talking about here.
I know.
What do we do next year for the budget, the year after, the year after? You're still talking the same amount of tax-paying properties having to split whatever the cost is up. It's just constantly gonna go up. Which I'm not against in a way, as a resident living here, I'd rather have open space. But that's where you become a victim of your own success.
Listen,
That's right, you're not regenerating surplus.
It don't matter, that's a dedicated tax anyway. It has nothing to do with our
And
general...
I'm not talking about open
The-
space,
the
I'm talking
people-
about taxes in general.
And when you have no surplus.
I mean, you're
left,
still gonna have the same amount of
left.
mileage of roadways to maintain,
Hmm?
the same amount of mileage of roadways to plow and take care of. You're still gonna have the same amount of people, you're still gonna have the same amount of police
I'll go
officers.
back to it
if not
again.
more.
I'll go back to it again. And why do all of these towns that have more industry than we do, why are their tax
Well,
rates higher?
I
Why is low
I
tax?
asked you, explain to me in 3 years, where's the money come from to pay for our budget?
When you could tell me how come Wolcott, who has a lot of industry, has higher tax rate than we, I'll do that.
Well, that's not an answer, and that's not an answer, but
Because they are.
I'm telling you what's gonna happen
I
here, we're gonna
can
raise
name,
taxes.
I can name 90% of the towns that have industry.
I don't care, I know we're a public sector.
Huh?
I know we're a public sector. I'm telling you that if you only have, I don't know how many taxable properties you have, it's just 1,800 or whatever. If that never grows, the same 1,800 pieces of property are gonna have to fund the budget every year forever.
So,
I think it's the rate of growth, right? Because if, you know, hypothetically, if your salaries are going up and you're at rate of inflation, let's call it 2%. If your taxes are going up 2%, you're basically staying even with inflation. It's when the
I
rate of
agree
your
with
tax
that.
increase goes above what you're getting on inflation. And that, I think what Frank's argument is, when you start, putting in all these businesses and then they generate police calls or fire calls, you start adding,
That's true.
lots of more services that you've got to raise, and you get more road traffic, and you have to do your roads more frequently, the rate of increase might be faster than...
Rutgers did a study on it. Rutgers did a whole study on open space versus
Well,
rateable.
I don't know.
I agree with you with, if you can go with the rate of inflation, but there's a lot of people that sit there and say, oh, it's rate,
less,
you know what I mean? So,
No,
well, that's all I'm saying,
I
it's
think
gonna
rate
go
of
up every year.
inflation is probably the best you can do.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting rid of something that was a one-time cost or something that is significantly reducing, but...
I mean, you have a point, because quite frankly, if it wasn't for Wyndham Farms, and it wasn't for Greenwich Chase, and if it wasn't for Kennedy Mills, my taxes would still be low, because now I'm having to pay to redo all your roads.
The other piece of our tax, just to kind of...
But that's not what you're talking about
anything-
industry.
Well, no, we're
No,
not
no,
talking about
no, I
the-
said earlier, I said you might have to consider letting the housing development go in. At least it would spread the cost for the municipal services out, but it's gonna probably impact the schools.
Yeah, the housing I'd like to answer, but
Hey, on that topic too, just to kind of, I wanted to bring something up. I was at one of the Warren County things, they had one of those training things I went to, and, one of the freeholders was there, the guy from Poet.
Oh, Jim.
He said, and again, I don't know if this is factual or not, but, because it was pretty early on, but he said the county rate was gonna go down this year.
Yeah, there was an article on that, they actually, if not down, wasn't going up, that was.
I mean, the tax rate.
The tax
But-
rate.
But they have a built-in increase, because somehow there's a reassessment some year for the county. You know how that works? There's a difference, and Mooney's here, we'll have to ask them. They have almost a built-in, even though they're lowering the tax rate, they do get more money because of the way the assessment goes for the county. John Mooney explained it one time when he was here. There is a difference there.
But all
I mean,
these-
they do actually cut the budget, but
All these ratables aren't going up in the other towns, they're, part of that money's going
Going
to
up
the
there,
county.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
we do kind of benefit a little bit from that, but not having it here.
yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention was, and I know I sent you guys a note, that the superintendent did send out a letter that Trenton is cutting with the new funding formula,
Yeah.
that our district's going to be losing state aid.
it was on $250,000.
And
like
this year it's like,
240,000.
two and a quarter, so you can pretty much expect that to offset, if not all part of that, they're going to probably take the rate increase on the operation up to the cap. So
So was that, I mean,
you can expect your school tax to go up.
they weren't, how much below the cap were they?
It's not about that, it's saying whatever they're allowed to go up.
2%.
Yeah, plus whatever their benefit exemption is.
There's no exemption anymore, I don't think, for
There's not?
No.
Well, they have that carry forward though, too. They get that bank cap
No,
they
no,
can
I-
even take.
I don't think
What's
there's
the
much they
school
can
tax
do.
rate? Do we know that?
I actually I thought I heard they were going to do staff cuts.
They're gonna have no choice.
Yeah.
But either way, even with the cuts, my point is, they're still probably gonna go up.
They're probably going to full 2%, yeah. I
We were
agree.
just saying a year or two ago how it was gonna go down because the debt service fell.
That was last year it went down.
But they never went down.
The net number went down. Well, the debt went down, but the operating went up.
It didn't
But
really
it didn't
quite
go down-
offset
it
it,
didn't go
right?
down.
That's what I'm
Very
saying.
much.
I mean, we got,
See,
yeah,
the debt
10
went down,
points and-
operating went up.
Right.
It's just what happens with
Where's the
ratables too. You get the money, you
Wasn't it on
spend
your-
it.
wasn't it-
That's
I
what the
agree
school
with
did.
that.
That's what the school
If you
did.
do it responsibly, it-
Yeah, but,
So-
All I'm saying is, the fact is, that if you don't get any more taxable properties, and you take some off the rolls, the same amount of people have to chip in every year to make the payment.
yeah, there's reassessments and all that stuff. I hear you, Sam.
I don't know how much of this is.
This has been debated.
Around
It's a
60%,
big
I
debate.
think.
I'm just saying, where you become a victim
No,
of your own
the
success.
rate.
Oh, the rate, actually.
Part of that is
Oh, yeah.
debt.
You know,
So like,
I have no problem doing
Part of
it.
the-
I'd rather pay,
dollars.
You know what,
I'd
though?
rather get hit with
Maybe.
a 3-cent raise every year.
You gotta, that
Yeah.
one thing you gotta keep into the equation is home values though. And I think because of the open space, people wanna live here, so your home values go up too. So you're making money on that end,
they're probably
you know?
gonna be.
That's what I think. I'm not, everybody I talk to
Yeah,
that lives
at
here
least.
pretty much
That's what I
see it
would've thought.
because of the open space, but
Well, that's what we said in the
Yeah,
beginning of the
that's
meeting.
right.
We were surprised how many people came out. They don't, against the ratables, but I'm just saying.
yeah, like me personally,
Yeah.
like I would pay more to keep it open, but not everybody's like that.
I know, that's what I'm saying, even at the rate of inflation,
Yeah.
which is kind of like keeping it flat.
Yeah,
There's gonna be people here saying, here we go, 3 cents again,
Yeah.
2 cents again, 3 cents
You know.
again, 2 cents again.
Yeah, I know.
You know, there's,
And you could say, with the worrisome part is, yeah, you can raise taxes outside of cap, but I don't want you to have next year, the year after, you only have so much leeway, like you said. It's not like you're running a big operation here, but if you get to a point, you're gonna have to let
Mhm.
somebody off if you have to come under the 2% cap,
We still need to do roads.
because we're not regenerating. surplus.
motion to adjourn, anybody?
Make that motion.
We're
it
digressing.
was a good
I
discussion.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.